How long till it feels like the wound's finally starting to heal? How long till it feels like I'm more than a spoke in a wheel? Most nights I feel that I'm not enough. I've had my share of Monday mornings when I can't get up. But when hope is lost and I come undone, I swear to God I'll survive. If it kills me too, I'm gonna get up and try. If it's the last thing I do, I've still got something to give. Though it hurts sometimes, I'm gonna get up and live until the day that I die. I swear to God I'll survive. How long till you know that in truth you know nothing at all? How far will you go to get back to the place you belong? Most nights I feel that I'm not enough, but I refuse to spend my best years rolling in the sun. So when hope is lost and I come undone, I swear to God I'll survive. If it kills me too, I'm gonna get up and try. If it's the last thing I do, I've still got something to give. Though it hurts sometimes, I'm gonna get up and live until the day that I die. I swear to God I'll survive. I swear to God I'll survive. I swear to God I'll survive. If it kills me too, I'm gonna get up and try. If it's the last thing I do, I've still got something to give. Though it hurts sometimes, I'm gonna get up until the day that I die. I swear to God I'll survive.
I took the supermarket flyers from the windowsill. I threw the day old tea from the cup. Packed up the photo album Matthew had made, memories of a life that's been loved. Took the get well soon cars and stuffed animals, poured the old ginger beer down the sink. Dad always told me, don't you cry when you're down, but Mum, there's a tear every time that I blink. Oh, I'm in peace pieces, it's tearing me up. But I know a heart that's broke is a heart that's been loved. So I'll sing hallelujah. You were an angel in the shape of my mom. When I fell down, you'd be there holding me up. Spread your wings as you go. When God takes you back, he'll say hallelujah, you're home. I fluffed the pillows, made the bed, stacked the chairs up, folded your nightgowns neatly in a case. John said he'd drive, then put his hand on my cheek and wiped a tear from the side of my face. And I hope that I see the world as you did, 'cause I know a life with love is a life that's been lived. So I'll sing hallelujah. You were an angel in the shape of my mom. When I fell down, you'd be there holding me up. Spread your wings as you go. And when God takes you back, he'll say hallelujah, you're home. Hallelujah, you were an angel in the shape of my mom. You got to see the person I have become. Spread your wings and I know that when God took you back, he said hallelujah, you're home.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I hope you're all well. I hope you can hear me. Something just disconnected. I'm hoping it wasn't my audio. Let me put the screen up. Hello, everybody. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. We'll try and remember everyone. As I say, the least we can do. So shout out. I wanted to make sure that we don't forget some of the people are in prison. Like I would say Bryan Kohberger obviously deserves to be there. But we got people like Zachariah Anderson who do not deserve to be in prison. So let's not forget him and other people that don't deserve to be in prison. So West Side, hello to you, Skits. Seahawks, how are you? Starts in 7 minutes. Daffodil, good morning. Mexi, good morning, my darling. Hopefully, if this does go into tomorrow, Mexi's going to be streaming it, hopefully. I can't stream it tomorrow, so hopefully Mexi will do it. Just as a reminder, Mexi, just in case you forgot. Lou, good morning, my darling. How are you? J-Mac, hello, my darling. How are you? What else you got here? Dave, how are you doing, Hamburger? Hope you're well. Sarah P, how are you, my darling? Nice to see you. Josie, yes, absolutely. So the Wrongful Pod, we got two of the members here. We got Josie and Ashley. So if you go to wrongfulpod.com, they are in there and they are great. They got the Zachariah story there as well. So Robin G, hello, my darling. How are you? Hope you're well. Mama Ames, good morning to you. Terry Martins, hello, my darling. Casey at Bart, hello to you. Hope you're well as well. I think we got everyone. Yes, if you will, please consider donation to the show. We'll always appreciate, but never required. Buy me coffee, PayPal are always a preferred method, but it's only if you can afford it. And also, we got the ads off. There's no ads or anything. We're trying this out with no ads. We've not had any ads for like 3 months now, so hopefully you all appreciate it and you enjoy it. There you go. Thank you, Terry. Hey, Tracy V, how are you, my darling? Nice to see you. Not seen you for a long time. How are you? Hope you're well. Sorry for making you cry, people. It's yeah, I know. Hey, stranger, Murph's Turf's in the house. Just to remind people, I got to play this when Murph's in here. I've not seen you, Murph, for ages. Where's it gone? Where's it gone?
Josie and Murph Turf.
Why won't it play?
Josie and Murph Turf. They aren't as lovely. Fuck around and find out. I'm joking, they're lovely.
There you go. We're all here. Avinoni, hello, my darling. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Avinoni. There she is. Good for you. The beautiful Ashlyn. How are you, my darling? Also, I was trying to say to Bobby on Monday. Bobby looks so young now, Ashlyn. He looks good with his haircut, Ashlyn. Hope you're both well. Send my love to Bobby, as always. Hope you're both well over there. I also always think JFY was go fuck yourself, but it's actually good for you. Oh, where are they gone? I got them here somewhere. I got my GFY from Bobby and Ashlyn. Good for you. I got them here. I'm going to put them on my case. I'm going to go back out to Boston. Wicked Psych, hello, my darling. Hope you're well, as always. I hope Matthew's well as well. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe, please. Thank you very much. Jackson Nickel, how are you? Hope you're well. Christine, hello, my darling. Nice to see you as well. Erin Hack is in the house. How are you, my darling? Hope you're well, Hackster. I know. Love you too, my darling. Thank you very much to you both. Supposed to be on my Facebook from Law and Crime. Saibao, hi, mum, let dog attack son authorities. Oh, hi, mum, let dog attack son authorities. Oof, that sounds like a case. Right, I got this up. Let's have a look what else is up as well. Because they were outside court when I put this up. So they think it's going to be done in one day. But if not, they are going to go into tomorrow as well. And as I say, Mexi, if you're here, knock twice, because hopefully you will be streaming that then. Yes, everyone's got the... Let's have a look. Let's go to... no, actually, we'll stick to this one, actually. Fox 5. We'll stick with Fox 5. Everyone seems to have this one on anyway, so... Yeah, looking very good. Looking very good, Christine. No, it could be 2 days, my darling. But it should be 1 day. It should be 1 day. But if it needs to, it'll go on to a second day. But hopefully it doesn't have to go on. Yes, hopefully it'll all be done today, all the sentencing. So, David Hamburger, behave in the chat now. Let's not pick on our little Erin. Love and miss you, GFY. Hope you're all well. There you go. Right. So this is, every stream has this on. I don't know why, but it seems to be this is what everyone's using as a template. They are in court. Let's have a look to see what they're saying in court. Let's have a look. I'll have Twitter up for you as well. So hold on, this is my Twitter account. So there's queues last night. They were told to move last night because there's no queues allowed. Right, not that one. Heightened security surrounds the Ada County Courthouse in Hyde. Victims' family arrives, so they've arrived. Update, Kathy Russell says how the process went this morning. Once the courthouse opened, they gave each of us a ticket with a number on it. Thankfully, that meant I didn't have to bolt up 4 flights of stairs to beat the crowd. They have chairs in a large media overflow room with numbers corresponding with the numbers on the ticket. They still haven't said how many will get into the courthouse. There are about 100 people here. I'm number 33 and look like I will get in. So that's law and crime, that is. Looks like they'll get in. Matt Johnson says he has a seat in court for Court TV. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see for any We just remind everyone we love Erin Hack in this chat. Erin, take a day off today. Hello, Sue. How are you, my darling? Are you still intermittent fasting? I am, but I will be honest with you. Intermittent fasting. I did take a day off. My niece has been with me today, so I had breakfast for the first time in 2 months, I think, this morning. So, but I am intermittent fasting. I am. Right, Robert Jesus, 6-year-old boy was tied up by mum and dad and had dog maul him because he didn't want to clean up after dog. What is it? Oh, you see, yeah. I just can't. Hey, Dennis, how are you? Good day to you, sir. Hope you're well. Love to Brenda, as always. Morning, Keith. How are you, sir? Hope you're well, as always. Talk about slander. Keith's in chat, so beware. Buyer beware. So, yeah. As I say, we got this today, then we got a few days off. Hopefully, it'll be done in one day. I think it'd be good for everybody if it's just completed today, and see where we go from there. In terms of the channel, I'm not sure where we're going. As I say, I wanted to do an intro, and the outro will be the Zach stuff now, just to remind people that there are still ongoing cases that we need to free. So Aaron Spencer, obviously, and Zach are two of many. For a long day tomorrow. There you go, J-Mac. J-Mac's having cancer treatment tomorrow, so prayers for J-Mac as well. I hope it goes okay for you tomorrow, J-Mac. I love you to bits, my darling. There you go. So, yeah. So, this has been... I know that a lot of people have got mixed feelings about today. Whichever way you think, whether he should be allowed to have life in prison, whether he should have faced the death penalty, or whether you still think that he's innocent, whatever, it is what it is right now. I've not delved into the case, so I can't really say too much. Hello to you, Katie. How are you, my darling? Hope you're well. So interesting fact, Bryan Kohberger was one of the reasons I came into true crime and started. So I heard about it, I read up on it, and then I got involved, and then from that I found Alex Murdoch, and then from that I started my stream. So I honestly thought that I would be streaming this case as a bit of a, how I got into it. But he's pled, and I don't know all the details. I tried to go into it a little bit blind, so I got no feelings on this case, to be quite honest with you. So Stephen Stearns, what a piece of shit he is. I'm sorry about my language. I'm not really, but I got to say sorry sometimes to actually people think that I am sorry, but I'm not. But Stephen Stearns is another one. He is a guy that deserves jail. I'd be interested to see what happens to his wife. I know we've gone past that, but Jennifer Soto, whether she will get arrested. Somebody said that she has full immunity. If that's the case, she will never get arrested. However, I don't actually know if she does or not. So that'd be interesting to play out. So watch this space for that one. We've got Donna Adelson coming up in August as well. We've obviously done the case of Aaron Spencer. If you've not seen it, watch what we had on yesterday. That is a case out in Arkansas where he shot and killed a predator who was assaulting and grooming his daughter, and was out on bail for those, and basically lured her out the house and kidnapped her. So he did the right thing, but he's been persecuted. His trial is also the 22nd of September, and that's exactly when Stephen Stearns is supposed to happen. So Stephen Stearns, fuck. But yeah. The Jen Soto one doesn't rest well with me at all. It doesn't rest well with me. Dennis went. There you go. There you go. There you go, Den. Let's go, Patriots. This could be a hot one for you. Which trials are Wicked Site? I was waiting to listen to the trial fresh and wait until the open statements. I only heard the initial story. Whenever. Which one's that? Which trial, Wicked Site? Sorry, I've jumped from trial to trial. There just now. All right, why are we not? We're 5 minutes late. Here we go. After that, let's go.
Be seated. Thank you.
Oh.
Need 5 minutes?
Why do you need 5 minutes for? Kohberger, yes. So I was trying to do obviously the same. We could say not to go into this case until we knew what was going on. But obviously I knew the bits and bits about it, but that's about it. Obviously a lot more people did a lot more research. I didn't really cover many hearings or anything, so I was the same. But I mean, it is what it is right now. I know there's still a lot of people who think he's innocent, but I have no feelings one way or the other because I have not done any research on it. So, Dennis Sweeney, we have the beautiful Ashlyn in chat saying hello to you, Dennis. Dennis is probably gardening right now, listening. They had all that time to prep and need 5 minutes. I know, it's maddening, these courts. I don't get it. How are you doing, Dave? Dave T from Boston Labourers. Hey, Dylan, good to see you, buddy. Hope everything's well here. Thank you, buddy. Hope you're well, Dave. We got two Daves, Dave Hamburg and Dave Labourers. Okay. Hello, Sally. How are you, my darling? Nice to see you. Sally always keeps scrolling from the UK. Oh, so once it starts, I'm probably going to pop off. No commentary, no nothing. So it'll just play, So I'll take myself off when it comes on, because I need to just do stuff. As I say, my niece is here as well, so I'll be listening to it, but not on screen. So we'll just keep it going. So yeah, as I say, they'll be ad-free and commentary-free, so we can all listen to it together. Thank you, my darling. Thank you. I will be here, though. Oops, here we go. Right, this mofo's back. Oh, shit.
All right, this is CR 01243165, State of Idaho versus Bryan Kohberger. Defendant is present in custody with counsel, Ms. Taylor, Ms. Massoth, Ms. Barlow. The state is represented by Mr. Thompson, Ms. Jennings, Mr. Hurwitz, Mr. Nye, and Ms. Allen. This is the time set for sentencing in this case. The defendant previously entered a plea of guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary. In exchange, the parties stipulated to recommend a sentence consisting of, on burglary, 10 years fixed, on each of the 4 counts of first-degree murder, life fixed. The parties waived pre-sentence investigation. To my understanding, neither party submitted a sentencing memorandum or other materials for the court. Court is familiar with the file and the evidence submitted previously by the parties as it has reviewed them throughout the case and in anticipation of trial. Is there any legal cause why sentence should not be imposed at this time?
No, Your Honor.
Does the state, before impact statements and arguments, wish to present evidence today?
Your Honor, the state does not intend to present evidence in a documentary sense. We have provided the court through the clerk with photographs that we would like to use during the course of our sentencing argument.
Sure. All right.
Thank you.
But no testimony other than impact statements?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. So with that, let's start with then impact statements.
Ms. Jennings will be introducing
And my understanding, just so I'm clear, I indicated through the trial court administrator that we need to see if any of the victims wish to have the camera not running and audio only. And my understanding is all of them indicated they are fine with the video. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
All right, very well. Go ahead.
Your Honor, the first, and we're taking these in the order, victim impact statements in the order that the charges were listed in the indictment. The first charge being burglary. So we will have Bethany Funk's statement, and she has asked that her friend Emily Allant read that statement.
All right, any objection to that? All right, very well.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll be speaking on behalf of Bethany, and so, yeah, here it reads. My name is Bethany Funk, and I was roommates with Maddie, Kaylee, Zana, and Ethan. I not only lost some of my best friends, but I also lost a sister. Never in a million years would I have thought that something like this would have happened to my closest friends. I thought that we were going to wake up and go upstairs, see them and tell them how they had scared us and that they were going to tease us about how we are constantly scaredy cats. I make jokes about it as we would go to Taco Bell like always. But sadly, that is not what happened and what turned out to be my worst nightmare. When I first woke up that morning, I had no idea what happened. I woke up around 7 with a terrible toothache. So I called my dad, who is a dentist, and he asked what I should do. He told me to take Advil, so I did, and I went back to sleep. I was still out of it and still didn't know what happened. If I had known, I of course would have called 911 right away. I still carry so much regret and guilt for not knowing what had happened and not calling right away, even though I understand it wouldn't have changed anything, not even if the paramedics had been right outside the door. I was so frantic that morning and scared to death, not knowing what had happened. And when I made the 911 call, I couldn't even get out the words. And from then on, I don't remember a thing. It was like my brain wiped that whole memory. That was the worst day of my life. And I know it always will be. While I was still in shock, trying to process the fact that my friends were truly gone, I had been attacked by the public. I was grieving, numb, and unsure of what had happened was even real. And at the same time, I was getting flooded with death threats and hateful messages from people who did not know me at all or know the dynamic of our friendship. Social media made it so much worse, and strangers made up stories to entertain themselves. The media harassed not just me, but also my family. People showed up at our house. They called my phone, my parents' phones, other family members' phones, and we were chased while I was still trying to survive emotionally and grieve the loss of my friends. I hated and still hate that they are gone, but for some reason, I am still here and I got to live. I still think about this every day. Why me? Why did I get to live and not them? For the longest time, I could not even look at their families without feeling sick with guilt. I did not know what to say or what to do. I was terrified that my presence just made their pain worse, and I was still here when their kid, their siblings and their friends, their loved ones should have been here instead. After everything happened, I was afraid to go into my own backyard or alone in my house. I was scared that the person who did this would come for me next. I was always scared that the media would try to catch me at any moment of any day, even when I was just walking around my house. I made my parents close all the blinds during the day so no one could see me even in the slightest chance. I barely left the house, and when I did, I made sure I was never alone. I slept in my parents' room for almost a year. I made them double lock every door, set an alarm, and still check everywhere in the room just in case someone was hiding. And I still check my room every night before, and I double lock it. I have not slept through a single night since this happened. I constantly wake up in panics, terrified. Someone is breaking in, or someone is here to hurt me, or I'm about to lose someone else that I love. The fear never really leaves. For a long time, I could barely get out of bed, but one day I realized I have to live for them. They did not get the chance to keep living, but I do, and I will not take that for granted. So now every day I remind myself to live for them in everything I do. I do it with them in mind. I am still scared to go out in public, but I force myself to do things because I know that they would want me to keep living my life to the fullest. I am beyond blessed to still be here, and I refuse to take that for granted when they did not get a chance. Our house was not just a house, it was a home. It was where we laughed till we couldn't breathe, make meals, did crafts, binge watch reality shows, played games, and spent lazy days on the couch. It was movie nights, wine nights, morning debriefs, pranks, hot chocolate, cookies, and warmth. I would cherish those memories forever, and I will not let what happened erase how special our home was or how much those memories meant to me. Now I would like to share some bits and pieces of who they were as people and some of the memories that we shared. One of my favorite memories was Halloween, and we all went to Sigma Chi. But instead of partying, we just sat in an apartment, talking and laughing all night long. I do not think I've ever laughed that hard in my life. We did not care about the party, we were just happy to be with each other. Zana was 1 in a million. She was the life of the party. But she was also the kindest and funniest person I knew. Everyone loved her because she made everyone feel so loved. She was just someone you always wanted to be around, no matter the circumstance. One of my favorite days with Zana was when she laid on the couch, when we laid on the couch together all day watching movies and snacking. Or when she, Maddie, and I would go and get margaritas, chips, and salsa. She would also light up a room with her presence alone. Kaylee had the most beautiful, radiant smile, and she was so kind, but also one of the funniest people I've ever known. She loved playing little pranks, and she always had us laughing so hard that we could not breathe. She was so full of energy and life. I really believe that she could have ruled the world if she wanted to, and she would have been America's sweetheart. Ethan was the sweetest, most genuine guy. He was always smiling and always making other people smile too. Ethan was the kind of person you wanted around. He was so kind and easy to talk to and just so fun. And the way he cared for Zana was truly something to admire. And really was proof that storybook love and true romances really do exist. It was not only obvious to me, but everyone that was around Ethan and Zana that they were absolute soulmates. Maddie was not only one of my best friends, but she was the older sister I would have always wanted. There was no one I looked up to or admired more than Maddie. She was truly a ray of sunshine, and everyone was drawn to her. She was so kind, loving, funny, fun, and passionate. She had the sweetest soul and wanted nothing but the best for everyone and to love and show love to everyone. She took me under her wing and always made me feel so safe and included, and above all, loved and valued. She never failed to make me laugh or put a smile on my face. Still to this day, I am beyond grateful that she chose me to be her sorority little, and I thank God every day that I not only got to know her, but had her as one of my best friends. Honestly, I cannot pinpoint one favorite memory with Maddie because I have so many, and this would be a very long read if I did. But if some little memories with her that I cherish is when the two of us made a nice dinner and split some wine, or when we would binge watch Jersey Shore or Summer House. When we came up with a whole dance routine on Halloween and danced and sang all night, like no one was watching. All the late night walks home from going out, and just little shopping trips and so much more. I am beyond blessed that I had the chance to know each and every one of them. They changed my life in ways I would have never put into words. I hope that they are remembered for who they are, not what happened to them, because who they are were so beautiful, and they deserve to be remembered in the highest way. My heart breaks every time I go to text one of them or how badly I wish I could see and hang out with them. And then I remember I cannot. I will never be able to again. But I still talk to them in my prayers every single night, and I always will. I wish more than anything I could hug them one last time And I wish I could tell them how much I love them. And even though I cannot, I still tell them every night. I will keep living for them as long as I am lucky enough to still be here. And they were all truly one of a kind. And they will be in our hearts forever and always.
Thank you. And please convey to Bethany my appreciation for her courage, and I hope that she heals.
Next is Dylan Martinson. We're asking for some accommodations for Ms. Martinson and that she be allowed to sit in my seat.
Sure. Dylan, just take your time, all right?
Thank you, Your Honor. What happened that night changed everything. Because of him, four beautiful, genuine, compassionate people were taken from this world for no reason. He didn't just take their lives. He took the light they carried it into every room. He took away how they made everyone feel safe, loved, and full of joy. He took away the ability for me to tell them that I love them and that I'm so proud of them. He took away who they were becoming and the futures they were going to have. He took away birthdays, graduations, celebrations, and all the memories that we were supposed to make. All of it is gone. And all the people who loved them are just left to carry that weight forever. He didn't just take them from the world. He took them from me, my friends, my people who felt like my home, the people I looked up to and adored more than anyone. He took away my ability to trust the world around me. What he did shattered me in places I didn't know could break. I was barely 19 when he did this. We had just celebrated my birthday at the end of September. I should have been figuring out who I was. I should have been having the college experience and starting to establish my future. Instead, I was forced to learn how to survive the unimaginable. I couldn't be alone. I had to sleep in my mom's bed because I was too terrified to close my eyes. Terrified that if I blinked, someone might be there. I made escape plans everywhere I went. If something happens, how do I get out? What can I use to defend myself? Who can help? And then there are the panic attacks. The kind that slam into me like a tsunami out of nowhere. I can't breathe. I can't think. I can't stop shaking. All I can do is scream because the emotional pain and the grief is too much to handle. My chest feels like it's caving in. Sometimes I drop to the floor with my heart racing, convinced something is very wrong. It's far beyond anxiety. It's my body reliving everything over and over again. My nervous system never got the message that it is over, and it won't let me forget what he did to them. People call me strong. They say I'm a survivor, but I don't see what my new reality looks like. They don't see the panic attacks, the hypervigilance, the exhaustion, the way I scan every room I enter, the way I flinch at sudden sounds. They don't know how heavy it is to carry so much pain and still be expected to keep going, and that's because of him. He stole parts of me I may never get back. He took the version of me who didn't constantly ask, what if it happens again? What if next time I don't survive? He may have shattered parts of me, but I'm still putting myself back together. Piece by piece, I'm learning how to live in this new version of life. It is not easy. It hurts, but I'm still trying. Still trying, and I'm not trying just for me. I'm trying for them, my friends. About a year ago, I had a dream about them. I got to say goodbye. I told them I won't be able to see you again, so I need to tell you goodbye. They all kept asking why, and all I could say was, I can't tell you, but I have to. When I woke up, I felt shattered and heartbroken, but also strangely grateful. Like maybe in some way that dream gave us the goodbye we never got. Still, no dream can replace them, and no goodbye will ever feel finished. He is a hollow vessel, something less than human. A body without empathy, without remorse. He chose destruction. He chose evil. He feels nothing. He tried to take everything from me. My friends, my safety, my identity, my future. He took their lives, but I will continue trying to be like them, to make them proud. Living is how I honor them. Speaking today is to help me find some sort of justice for them. And I will never let him take that from me. He may have taken so much from me, but he will never get to take my voice. He will never take the memories I had with them. He will never erase the love we shared, the laughs we had, or the way they made me feel seen and whole. Those things are mine. They are sacred, and he will never touch them. I get to feel sadness. I get to feel rage. I get to feel joy even when it's hard. I get to feel love even when it hurts. I get to live. And while I will still live with this pain, at least I get to live my life. He will stay here, empty, forgotten, and powerless.
Dylan, thank you so much for your courage. I appreciate it.
Next, we have members from the Madison Mogen family. First would be Scott Laramie, Madison Mogen's stepfather. Standing by him is Cara Laramie, Madison's mother.
Thank you, Your Honor. My name is Scott Laramie. I'm Maddie Mogen's stepfather and the husband of Maddie's mother, Karen Laramie. I will read this victim impact statement on behalf of Karen and myself. Maddie was our gift of life, our purpose, and our hope. Maddie quickly became Karen's joy, identity, and purpose in life. I joined Maddie's life when she was 2.5 years old. The experience transformed me into a life of joy, love, and family. Maddie was bright, beautiful, kind, empathic. She listened carefully to others and was observant, seeing and caring about the hearts and the minds of all she encountered. She loved music and music festivals. She had a wonderful sense of humor. She excelled in school. She was an easy child to raise, almost never requiring discipline, and almost always giving us parental joy. One time Karen remembers disciplining Maddie as a little girl. Maddie responded, "You broke my heart," which of course melted ours. She had a keen wit, even at that young age. As she transitioned into teenage years, she prioritized us and extended family over many of the distractions that capture teenagers. She showered us with her presence and love at family events, barbecues, picnics, birthdays, holidays, and others. She spent countless hours with her papa, her uncle David, Aunt Nadine, and her other close family and friends. This world was a better place with her in it. As she reached adulthood, Maddie applied her studies to be a marketing professional, entering into an internship at Payne West, and started planning her professional future. As with all things, she involved Karen and myself in the joy of her journey. As she transitioned into womanhood, Karen and I continued to be astounded at this wonderful and accomplished person we had created. All parents dream of their children accomplishing more than them. We realized this dream, all we had not become, she was becoming. Karen and I are ordinary people, but we lived extraordinary lives because we had Maddie. Maddie was taken senselessly and brutally in a sudden act of evil. She was taken along with the young, promising, and bright lives of Kaylee, Zana, and Ethan. First, we felt disbelief. Next, we felt disorientation. Then we felt grief overcome us. Our grief is compounded even more for the Gonzalez, Kernodal, and Chapin families. We speak of hope and healing, and we do have hope and some healing. But the vast emotional wound will never fully heal. Since Maddie's loss, there's emptiness in our hearts, home, and family, an endless void. After losing her mother in a car crash, Karen took years to grieve and recover. The feeling that her life with Maddie and A was perfect helped her to start to heal. Now, this is no longer perfect. After Maddie's loss, Karen felt like she was spinning out, emotionally collapsing into anxiety and depression. She sometimes asks, "How am I supposed to go on when I've lost my favorite person in the world?" I felt the same, and we continue to struggle. The loss of Maddie has impacted so many beyond our family. Her second family is her sorority sisters who grieve alongside us. She has so many close friends who suffer from her loss. We will continue to be her loss will continue to be felt by the Vandal community, including Vandal Solutions on campus, where she volunteered her time for others. It helps us to know Maddie is in heaven now, freed from the trials of this earth. We, however, continue to live on without the grace and support of her presence. We will grow old without our only child, our bright, beautiful friend and daughter. In the end, there are no words that can accurately capture the devastation of losing Maddie. We will endure and we will go on. For Maddie, we will not let our grief consume us. For Maddie, we will continue to love and care for our family and friends, including the families of Kaylee, Zana, and Ethan. We will remain united with them. We can only hope that others out there suffering similar losses can look to us and see that we can overcome hatred, darkness, and evil. We know the law allows us to comment on the defendant and his sentence. As for his sentence, we support the plea agreement. Society needs to be protected against this evil. As for the defendant, we will not waste the words, nor will we fall into hatred and bitterness. Evil has many faces, and we now know this, but evil does not deserve our time and attention. We are done being victims. We are taking back our lives. We will turn our time, talents, and attention to hope, healing, and helping others, and to the future. We invite all those who have suffered with us on this to join us in our journey. We can make this world a better place. We can move on from tragedy. Adversity will visit us, evil will visit us, but we will overcome. We can and will endure. Karen and I express our gratitude to Your Honor and to the prosecution team for allowing us the opportunity to make this statement. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your courage, and I am so sorry for your loss. God bless
Your Honor.
Your Honor, this is Leander James. He's the attorney for the Mogen family and victim advocate. He'll be reading a statement for Cara and Laramie.
May it please the court, counsel. My name is Leander James. I am the pro bono counsel for Karen and Scott Laramie. Karen has asked me to read this statement into the record. I thank my husband, Scott, for his statement, his courage, and his unending love and support during this dark time. While words are inadequate to capture the impact of this horrific crime on our family, he expressed it as best anyone could. For Maddie's sake, I will add my supplement statement that incorporates additional impact in the context of my extended family. I am grateful to Maddie's great uncle, Bryan Caulfield, for assisting me with the difficult task of putting our pain into words. For me and my extended family, Maddie was our hope and our light. Her beauty, both outside and in, shone its light upon everyone with whom she came in contact. Her beauty, she carried that hope and light into the future for our entire family. We have memories of our Maddie and grief and pain at her being taken from our presence. Any one of us would have given our own light to have been outshone by hers. We now look to our Creator to know that her light continues where we look to see her in His presence. Those who commit evil for their own twisted gains and purposes truly defile the efforts and sacrifices of mothers, fathers, families, teachers, clergy, public servants, service members, and all those who commit themselves to the greater good, freedoms, and the future light of our nation. Condemnation falls heavily upon those who squandered the lives of our future hopes and dreams. Some may offer forgiveness for what the defendant has done. However, we cannot at this time, or perhaps ever, nor will we ask for mercy for what he has done. His acts are too heinous. The agony and grief he has caused, too great. But we will waste no further words or thoughts on him. For Maddie's sake, we will move on. We will do our best to carry Maddie's light into this world and make it a better place. I thank the court and the prosecution for allowing me the opportunity to make my statement. And I support my family and the families of Kaylee, Zana, and Ethan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Laramie. Appreciate it.
Next is Ben Mogen, the father of Maddie Mogen.
Of course.
Actually, Your Honor, it'll be Kim Chile, the grandmother of Maddie Mogen.
My name is Kim Chile. I was Maddie Mogen's paternal grandmother, as Ben Mogen, her father, is my son. I'm here today with my sister Lori Chile, Maddie's great aunt, and my son Ben Mogen, and my daughter-in-law Corey Hatrock. I'd like to begin by thanking a number of people involved in bringing this case to closure. In my daughter's words, the plea deal the prosecution team reached this month is one that punishes the perpetrator of this horrendous crime, protects the public from further harm, and allows all of us who knew and loved these kids the time to grieve without the anxiety of the long and gruesome trial, the years of appeals, and potential for mistrials along the way. My family and I are so grateful to Bill Thompson and his prosecution team for their dedication and painstaking work that forced the perpetrator to admit his guilt. We want to thank the Idaho State Police, the Moscow Police Department, the FBI, and Judge Hippler. We'd also like to thank the University of Idaho officials who have treated the families of the victims with such dignity and kindness, and who have honored the 4 victims beautifully. Maddie was my first grandchild, so when she was born, all her grandparents had the distinct pleasure of deciding what we'd like to be called. I chose Nana, pretty original. But when Maddie was about 1.5 years old, her papa, Ben's dad, and I were planning to visit the new little family in Oregon. Maddie didn't have an extensive vocabulary at the time, but for some unknown reason, she called bananas ba-deedle-deedles. When Karen and Ben told her Nana was coming to visit, she figured, I say deedle-deedle for that word. So I became deedle-deedle, shortened to Deedle when she was about 6 or 7, and I was Deedle all her life. I don't think her stepdad, Scotty, ever knew my given name was Kim. Maddie's and my birthdays were 1 day apart, and a couple years before she was killed, she gave me this necklace with Deedle and Maddie engraved on it, and I added an angel wing, and it's one of my treasured possessions. I also got an angel wing tattoo, never thought I'd see the day, but along with many members of our family, replicating the one that Maddie and her sorority sisters had. I wanted mine where I could see and touch it often. From preschool through grade school, I stopped teaching piano lessons early on Wednesdays and picked Maddie up for bubble baths, brownies, and books. It was our special time together. And she went home those nights in her jammies with a pan of warm brownies for her family. Although Karen and Scotty raised Maddie and did such a lovely job of parenting, we Mogens were lucky to have her for holidays and many other family gatherings. We'll always have our treasured memories of Maddie growing up in our big extended cooperative family. And I thank Karen and Scotty Laramie for being so generous and open and sharing Maddie with her Mogen side of the family. When the 4 kids were murdered, the foundation fell out of our world. Initially, the fear was truly debilitating. The first 6 weeks were excruciating. Despite the vigils, memorials, candlelight gatherings of students, friends, family, community members. After the arrest in the past 2.5 years, my family has lived with grief, with the effects of traumatic grief, of which I was blissfully unaware before all of this. I now have a stack of books on grief. I've attended grief classes at hospice. I've tried EMDR, a technique that helps replace disturbing visions with something more comforting. My son Ben, his 2 sisters, Maddie's aunts, and I have all experienced depression and anxiety and sleep disturbance, requiring medical intervention at times. We've all sought counseling off and on. The struggle with media attention was extremely difficult, especially for Ben. No one should live through the violent murder of one's child. Some days it's beyond me how the parents of these kids are still upright. I'm thankful for the strong families and communities that are supporting the survivors. At the time, I could think of only 2 blessings surrounding the horrific murders. One was that Ben was living with my partner Tom and me at the time, and that we could support each other emotionally through it all. Sadly, Tom died a year ago of a rare brain cancer, and he won't be here to see justice served. He was our family's rock, and we all miss him every day. A second blessing is that my mother died of COVID several months before the kids were killed, and she didn't have to live through the horror. It was difficult to identify blessings. So we've all lost our dear child and a future with her. I ache for the loss of the dreams that she and her true love, Jake, held. And my heart goes out to Karen and Scotty and your side of Maddie's family. You've had more than your share of loss. My heart aches for the kids' roommates and the families of the other victims, and also the family of the perpetrator. Going forward, we Mogens are choosing to put our energy and focus into honoring Maddie's too short life and sweet spirit by celebrating Maddie May Day, which my 2 daughters established. On May 25th each year, Maddie's birthday, we encourage folks to do random acts of kindness in Maddie's name. In my daughter Katie's words, may we all protect our peace in whatever way possible, unite in community, and focus on joy. Please do an act in kindness in Maddie's honor during this week, so a glimmer of Maddie's light may live on. Thank you.
Thank you, and appreciate your courage, and bless you and your family.
Thank you.
Now it's Ben Mogen, Maddie Mogen's father.
I'm Benjamin Mogen. I'm Maddie's dad. And first, I just want to say thanks to all the people that helped bring this all to a close. I know it's not the resolution that everyone wanted, but I think that that everyone worked so hard, and we really appreciate all their efforts. It was such a hard thing to go through for everybody. Maddie was my only child that I ever had. She's the only great thing I ever really did, and the only thing I was really ever proud of. And I thought we would have the rest of our lives together to be together and know each other, and I took for granted the times she was in college, and I thought, oh well, we'll have the rest of our lives to just do all the stuff that we're supposed to do, and she was just about done. She actually earned all of her credits for her college degree, and Karen and Scotty and I got to go and get her diploma that she actually earned, and she deserved every bit of that. And but I thought that that was going to be just the beginning of a long life together, and we never got that. Karen and Scotty did such a great job raising her after Karen and I split up, and I'm so thankful for Scotty and the role that he played in her life when I wasn't able to. But we got to spend a lot of great times together, Maddie and I. She was my favorite person to go to a concert with. We got to see some fun shows together, and I told her, if there's ever a show that you want to go to, let me know, and I'll get you tickets for you and your friend, or if you want to go together, we'll make it happen. And my favorite memory with her was when the Mac Miller show sold out here in Spokane, and everyone wanted tickets, no one could get them, and they, on the last day before the show, they did a radio thing, and I got 4 meet and greet tickets for Maddie and her friends, and me to go and see the show, and that was her favorite artist at the time, was Mac Miller, and he's gone now too, and my little cousin Zach drove us all there that night, and he's gone too, tragically. And anyway, the last thing that she ever wrote to me was this Father's Day card, and I'm so glad I still have it. I'm just going to read what she said. It says, "Happy Father's Day. I hope you have the best day. I can't wait till we can hang out again soon. I'll be in Coeur d'Alene 624 to 74. Hopefully we can find a time then. I love your birthday card that you sent me, by the way. Maybe we can see a concert sometime soon. I'd love to see the gorge when it's not so smoky out. I hope you're doing well. I'm proud of how far you've come. Thank you for always encouraging me to do my best. Love you lots and lots. Love, Maddie May." She did encourage me to not just to do my best, but to live on. I went through a lot of issues with addiction and with substance abuse, and when I wasn't wanting to live anymore, she was what would keep me from just not caring anymore. And knowing that she was out there and that she was just such a beautiful person kept me alive a lot of rough moments. And I'm so glad that she was able to meet Jake. He was the only one that actually ever got to take her to the gorge. They went and saw Watershed together, and yeah, they had a heck of a time. I'm glad she got to. That's a really special place for me, and she always wanted to work out there with me in the summer sometime. She never got to, but at least she got to see it once with Jake. He was such a great guy. He is such a great guy. And I really wanted to see what a future with them would have looked like. I'll never be able to replace her. I wrote a bunch of stuff. I just don't know what to say right now. I just miss her so much, and I just love her more than anything. And it shouldn't have happened. And a death sentence is one thing. You know when it's going to happen, and it's going to be all gentle and stuff. But life without parole, with a building full of people that all just want you to not be around anymore, winking at every morning, not knowing if that's the day they're going to pull your card. I mean, it's not a very nice sentence either. So, I don't know. I just love you, Maddie, and I wish you were still here.
Thank you so much.
Your Honor, next would be members from the Cheryl Gonzalez family. First will be her father, Steve Gonzalez.
Today, we are here to finish what you started. Today, you've lost control. Today, we are here to prove to the world that you picked the wrong families. The wrong state, the wrong police officers, the wrong community. You tried to break our community apart. You tried to plant fear. You tried to divide us. You failed. Instead, your actions have united everyone in their disgust for you. I just learned from these lead investigators, to their shock, they worked in an investigation and actually worked with Pennsylvania police officers and the federal FBI. You united everyone. Everyone was united after you. None of us are divided. We are united in our disgust and our love for these children. Today, you have no name. Because when this all started, we all came together and we said, let's stop even talking about his name and just use initials. So even the media just calls you BK. That's all you are. Looking back when the police officers knocked on my door, told me what happened to my child, told me what happened to Maddie Mae, I don't think he was even out of the driveway before my kids turned around, looked at me and said, what do we do, Dad? I told him, you get to work. You get your ass to work. And we started calling, we started texting, we started emailing. And you know what? Within hours, we had your white car on the camera. We knew from the very beginning we had you. Police officers tell us within minutes, they had your DNA, like a calling card. You were that careless, that foolish, that stupid. Master degree, you're a joke, complete joke. But we took this disaster and we did what we could. We put everything online. We took our kids, we took our images, we took everything that they did, their videos, their photos, the girls' pranks, Ethan singing. We put it out there, we shared it with the world. And the world united. And all they ended up, when they talked about this case, is they talked about Kaylee Jade, Maddie Mae, Zana, and Ethan. Everything that these people meant to us, a father, a mother, a brother, a sister, we shared that with our community. Then we shared it with our state. We shared it with the country, and eventually we shared it with the world. The world's watching because of the kids, not because of you. Nobody cares about you. You're not worth the time, the effort to be remembered. In time, you will be nothing but two initials forgotten to the wind. No visitors, nothing more than initials on an otherwise unmarked tombstone. From this moment, we've all started. From this moment, we will forget you. We want to all leave in closing. One last thing. You picked the wrong family, and we're laughing at you on your trip to the pen. That will be today or tomorrow. I'll close with, God bless all the men and women that worked on this case and all the hard work that you guys did. You guys allowed us to grieve and allowed us to get through this. The amount of work that you guys put together and the way that you guys put it together was beautiful. There was hard times to be expected, but thank you all. God bless.
Thank you.
Your Honor, next is Stephen Gonzalez, Kaylee's brother.
Stephen's actually gonna pass. I'm gonna go.
Okay. Olivia Gonzalez, Kaylee's sister.
Hello, I'd like to start by thanking the court for allowing me the time and opportunity to speak today. My name is Olivia, and I'm the big sister of Kaylee Gonzalez, and I was blessed to love Madison Mogen as a sister too. I'm not here today to speak in grief. I'm here to speak in truth. Because the truth is, my sister Kaylee and her best friend Maddie were not yours to take. They were not yours to study, to stalk, or to silence. They were two pieces of a whole, the perfect yin and yang. They are everything that you could never be. Loved, accepted, vibrant, accomplished, brave, and powerful. Because the truth about Kaylee and Maddie is they would have been kind to you. If you had approached them in their everyday lives, they would have given you directions, thanked you for the compliment, or awkwardly giggled to make your own words less uncomfortable for you. In a world that rejected you, they would have shown mercy. Because the truth is, I'm angry. Every day I'm angry. I'm left shouting at the inside of my own head everything I wish I could say to you. The truth about me is when I heard the news, I didn't cry. I listened for them. I promised them I would, that I would fight for them, that I would show up no matter what it cost me. I swore I'd never let them feel alone. Because you see, I've always been their heavyweight. I've always been the one to fight the battles they didn't feel ready to fight themselves. All it ever took was a call, and they knew I would handle it for them, no matter the time, no matter the cost. They could wave their white flag because they knew I would never back down, not for them, and not even death could change that. Somewhere along the line, I started to think about what I would say to them if I was given just one last chance. If I could gather enough heartbreak or love or sacrifice or whatever it took to get just one message across, what would I say? Throughout this entire process, I've written my feelings down at every moment, my wishes, my love, my denial, my anger. And as one final act of love, I'd planned to read these thoughts, even jarring and discombobulating and not even making sense. Because for me, that was true love. As bare and as naked as it could be, not laced in pretty words or dressed for the occasion, but written through bleary eyes at 2 a.m. with clenched fists, angry at this reality. My true final act of love was to continue on without them, for them. That dream to read aloud my love to them, to bring meaning through pain, was the latest blow in realizing you don't deserve it. And Kaylee and Maddie don't need it. Kaylee and Maddie have always known my love, and they would never ask me to prove it by further victimizing myself to a defendant who has shown no guilt, no remorse, no apprehension. They would say to me, "Why would you give the satisfaction of showing vulnerability now? You promised you would never back down." And for that clarity, I'm thankful. I won't stand here and give you what you want. I won't offer you tears. I won't offer you trembling. Disappointments like you thrive on pain, on fear, and on the illusion of power. And I won't feed your beast. Instead, I will call you what you are: sociopath, psychopath, murderer. I will ask the questions that reverberate violently in my own head, so loudly that I can't think straight most any day. Some of these might be familiar, so sit up straight when I talk to you. How was your life right before you murdered my sisters? Did you prepare for the crime before leaving your apartment? Please detail what you were thinking and feeling at this time. Why did you choose my sisters? Before making your move, did you approach my sisters? Detail what you were thinking and feeling. Before leaving their home, is there anything else you did? How does it feel to know the only thing you failed more miserably at than being a murderer is trying to be a rapper? Did you recently start shaving or manually pulling out your eyebrows? Why November 13th? Did you truly think your Amazon purchase was untraceable because you used a gift card? How do you find it enjoyable to stargaze with such a severe case of visual snow? Where is the murder weapon, the clothes you wore that night? What did you bring into the house with you? What was the second weapon you used on Kaylee? What were Kaylee's last words? Please describe in detail the level of anxiety you must have felt when you heard the Bearcat pull up to your family home on December 30th, 2022. Which do you regret more? Returning to the crime scene 5 hours later, or never, ever going back to Moscow, not even once, after stalking them there for months? If you were really smart, do you think you'd be here right now? What's it like needing this much attention just to feel real? You're terrified of being ordinary, aren't you? Do you feel anything at all? Or are you exactly what you always feared? Nothing. If you're so powerful, then why are you still hiding, defendant? You see, I'm here today as me. But who are you? Let's try to take off your mask and see. You didn't create devastation. You revealed it in yourself. And that darkness you carry, that emptiness, you'll sit with it long after this is over. That is your sentence. And it was written on the wall long before you ever pled guilty. You didn't win. You just exposed yourself as the coward you are. You're a delusional, pathetic, hypochondriac loser who thought you were so much smarter than everybody else. Constantly scolding, turning your nose up to grammar mistakes, nitpicking and criticizing others. You wanted so badly to be different, to be special, to be better, to be deep, to be mysterious. You found yourself thinking you were better than everyone else, and you thought you could figure out the human psyche and see through it, all while tweaked out on heroin. Lurking in the shadows made you feel powerful because no one ever paid you any attention in the light. You thought you were exceptional, all because of a grade on a paper. You thought you were elite because your online IQ test from 2010 told you so. All of that effort just to seem important. It's desperate. There is a name for your condition, though. Your inflated ego just didn't allow you to see it. Wannabe. You act like no one could ever understand your mind, but the truth is you're basic. You're a textbook case of insecurity disguised as control. Your patterns are predictable. Your motives are shallow. You are not profound. You're pathetic. You aren't special or deep, not mysterious or exceptional. Don't ever get it twisted again. No one is scared of you today. No one is intimidated by you. No one is impressed by you. No one thinks that you are important. You orchestrated this like you thought you were God. Now look at you, begging a courtroom for scraps. You spent months preparing, and still all it took was my sister in a sheath. You work so hard to seem dangerous, but real control doesn't have to prove itself. The truth is, the scariest part about you is how painfully average you turned out to be. The truth is, you're as dumb as they come. Stupid, clumsy, slow, sloppy, weak, dirty. Let me be very clear. Don't ever try to convince yourself you mattered just because someone finally said your name out loud. I see through you. You want the truth? Here's the one you'll hate the most. If you hadn't attacked them in their sleep, in the middle of the night, like a pedophile, Kaylee would have kicked your fucking ass. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Christy Gonzalez, Kaylee Gonzalez's mother.
Thank you, Your Honor. I never imagined having to speak to someone so devoid of humanity. For a long time, I didn't think I'd find the words low enough to meet you where you are. But now I realize this isn't about you. It's about what you've done to me, and I need you to hear it. When you murdered my daughter, Kaylee J. Gonzalez, you didn't just take her life, you shattered others. You attacked what you could never be, and in doing so, you left a trail of devastation far beyond that house. You stole my peace. You've altered my every waking moment, every sleepless night, The way I view the world, people, safety, trust, it's all been changed by your cruelty. I no longer recognize parts of myself. Joy is harder to find. Laughter feels foreign. The world moves forward, but I'm suspended in a place of sorrow and rage. You've taken from me something that can never be restored. The grief sits with me every day, some days quietly, and other days so loud it drowns out everything else. The emotional toll you've inflicted on me is immeasurable. I live with a constant ache, with birthdays that are now memorials, with holidays that feel hollow, with empty chairs that scream louder than words ever could. I am forever changed. But for you, as a person working on a PhD in criminal justice, you really didn't think this one through. You're not that good. In fact, you're not that good at anything. You couldn't secure a job. You couldn't get along with others. You couldn't even get a female to look in your direction. All because you are pathetic. Now you're a joke in this courtroom. I wish I could crown you with a jester hat to complete your orange jumpsuit clown look. A dead killer doesn't kill again. So while I'm disappointed the firing squad won't get to take their shots at you, I'm confident that the men in prison will have their way with you in more ways than one. You will finally get what you wanted, physical touch. Just probably not how you were expecting it. See, you haven't beat the system. You've simply entered a new one, where the rules are cruel and the consequences will never end. You are entering a place where no one will care who you are and no one will ever respect you. You will be forgotten, discarded, used, and erased. You will always be remembered as a loser, an absolute failure. And when those prison doors slam shut behind you, I hope that sound echoes in your heart for the rest of your meaningless days. I hope it reminds you of what we all already know. You're nothing. May you continue to live your life in misery. You are officially the property of the state of Idaho, where your fellow inmates are anxiously awaiting your arrival. But it's okay, because they're there to help you. Hell will be waiting. Quick message from our youngest daughter. Aubrey wanted to say, you may have received A's in high school and college, but you're going to be getting big D's in prison.
Thank you. Do we have more from the Gonzalez family, or are you?
Yes. Next would be Shannon Gray, the Gonzalez family attorney. He'll be reading statements from Kaylee Gonzalez's grandmothers.
Morning, Your Honor. Shannon Gray, the attorney for the Gonzalez family. I actually have 3 statements, one from her aunt and 2 from her grandparents. This is from her aunt, Tammy Butts. You, in the cloak of darkness, made a decision to turn our whole family's world upside down forever. You, in the cloak of darkness, took our Kaylee J. Gonzalez away from us all without hesitation. Never have you shown any remorse or regret. We just get creepy, non-expressive stares as you have your team of women defend you. Kaylee was a strong, kind, fun-loving, caring person, and she will greatly be missed by all her family and friends for the rest of our lives. She had goals in life that you took from her and us. We lose on watching her enjoying her life, working hard and building the future she wanted. She was ready to start that after college life. You, in the cloak of darkness, took it all away. You left us without her future wedding, her future children that she would have added to our family. No more talking to her on the phone, going for a coffee, celebrating holidays. It's all gone. You, in the cloak of darkness, gave each and every one of Kaylee's family members their own lifetime sentence. You and the cloak of darkness also took our Maddie Mae from all of us. She was so genuine, caring, polite. She was part of our family. You came in, harmed our children that were younger women than you in their own beds. You're nothing, you're a coward. It's not right that you have received life. I pray that you meet your end in the cloak of darkness, burn in hell. I have two other statements, Your Honor. This is Linda Lucan's statement. This is Kaylee's grandmother. I really don't know how to address something so inhumane, but I will try. Nothing in the past 2.5 years has made any sense. All I get is you cowardly went into a home at night, filled with what I'm sure you thought was all sleeping girls, and went on a vicious killing spree for no other reason but to appease your demonic urges. You took my granddaughter Kaylee from us, plus 3 other beautiful lives. You took my granddaughter Kaylee, beautiful, sweet-souled, doll-faced Kaylee, who was getting ready to start her amazing life, who had such a bright future, who was loved by so many, who you were so envious of. She had a life you could never have. You are so beyond human. You're definitely a demon from hell. I truly wish your punishment would be the same death you inflicted on our kids. But I think you will meet some new friends in prison who will be there just to help you. Thumbs up. And I have one last statement, Your Honor. This is from Cheryl Gonzalez, Kaylee's other grandmother. John 1:5 says, light shines in the darkness, and the darkness overcomes it not. Somewhere in your life, some jealousy, envy, ego, something went dark. It pushed out all light until you became dark and evil. And when you saw my granddaughter and her friends, their light, because they have such a light, you couldn't stand it. Because the darkness in you could not stand the light in them. And so you decided to destroy it. Cowardly, you walked into their rooms in the dark and took their lives, hoping to get rid of your darkness. But you didn't. You failed. Because you know what was once a light shown only to their friends, families, and loved ones is now all over the world. Everyone sees it. Their smile, their beauty, their plans, everything they were and had. And you think you put a close to it, even that, but you didn't. Because they still exist. They are still light. They are still beautiful. You can never take that away. They will always be in the light of all eternity. And you will be in the darkness because you could not overcome it. You failed. I want you to be gone, more than gone. I want you to be cast out. Cast out from my life, from my family, from this earth. I will not allow your hatred to penetrate into my own soul. You did not get that power. You are evil, and in the end, evil is eradicated. You didn't take Kaylee's light, you spread it into the world. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. Are you moving to a different family now? All right, why don't we take a 10-minute recess? All right.
This is all so wow. You may have got A's in college, but you don't get big D's. Shit, hang on. between the line of if Katie would have kicked your fucking ass, and from the little sister you're gonna get big D's in college, in prison. That's amazing. So I thought everyone's been, very emotional so far. Steve Gonzalez obviously has a lot of pent up stuff. I thought he would have gone further. If I'm being honest, I loved the podium, picked it up and faced him. I thought that's awesome. That's awesome. So it's I don't know if he's drugged up though. Do you know what I mean? Is he medicated? Do you think, Bryan? Because he's not showing any emotion whatsoever, which is surprising. I think even I thought would show some sort of emotion, but no, nothing. Nothing. They've been such sweet. The grandmother, Maddie's grandmother one hit me hard. What she's saying about the banana one, that was. You just can't help but smile, but it's so sad, but you just can't help but smile with that story as well. So, man, I didn't think it would be as emotional as it was, I think we'd be emotional as 15 impacts, obviously, but we'd only sit through them and, they're emotional, but there's so many here that but they go through them quite quickly, quicker than I thought they would. As I say, I thought Steve Gonzalez would have been on there for a lot longer. He kept it very concise, So J-Mac, I just think he has to be some sort of medicated. You know what I mean? To sit there through that and not show any emotion. We all have emotion. I've been, tears in my eyes, over a lot of these. So I'm not really sure why he's not like dead part. I mean, look, he's a killer. So there you go. Yes, I thought so. His attorneys are also something as well. I couldn't do it. I think they're just used to it, So and Taylor obviously deals with death penalty cases and stuff like that. I think she's immune to it, if that's a word. I think she would be emotional on it. She just knows she can't, or she's trying not to show it, So, but yeah, she's probably sat there several times for death penalty cases with people going to their deaths and stuff. So, she's by far a lot more used to it than we are. Where he's never done this before, and he's sat like. You gotta think, you gotta reminisce the fact that you did all this, and he's just sat there. Jeepers. No one knows, Terry, if his family there. We don't know. I don't know how the attorneys can stand to sit there close. So they can sit there because he's chained up, I believe, or he's got some restraints on him or something, so he can't do anything. Texy. I'm not even putting this past him even now. I am as well. When I saw him go up, I stood up. I was like, oh, there may be trouble ahead. He did amazing. I thought I liked it from him because it was straight to the point. A lot of anger. I love the podium pickup. Bang. Face me, motherfucker. He's like, you started all this. We're finishing it. And I thought that was impactful. So, it's very, very impactful, all of it, So yeah, also this is not overdone with yet. I would not be surprised if he did still jump over, so but no, there's enough officers there, he couldn't get to him, I don't think. But yes. Yeah. I'm watching it, not typing. It's heartbreaking to watch these. I know, I'm watching it as well. I couldn't be on screen for this. It's just too emotional, and this is not about streams and us. This is about making sure that the family get closure as best they can. Mogen seemed to be no, we want to celebrate her life, and that's the way we're going to move forward with this. We're going to forget about you, and we're going to move forward with it. So respect to that. Respect to them all. Somebody said online that the Chapins aren't there, but I think they are there. I don't know. But her family, I've no idea if they're there or not. And if they are there, will they say anything? I don't know. I don't think so. What do you say? You know, what do you say in that situation? So yeah, it looks like it'll be over today though. Mexi, you'll be happy to know. Also, Mexi, you sent me a message. I couldn't open it because I need to open it on this computer, not my other one, because it won't let me open it. I got UK VPN on that one. I got the US one on this one. You know, so families are all very classy. Yes, they have been, Terry. Very, very classy. What can I say? We raise the monster. I mean, normally they do say something. They normally like obviously want to say something on his behalf to him, or they want to say something to the other families. Normally they will do it when they got to contest something. Obviously the punishment's been outlined, but normally obviously parents do speak, but in this case the punishment has already been done, so there's no pleading to be done. However, they still may want to go up and apologize, or they might still want to go up and say something. It's impacted on their lives. They have every right to go up there and say something, so it'll be interesting to see if they do say something or not. Chapins are on the lake celebrating Ethan's life. Oh, there you go. So they're not there then, yeah, are they? Somebody said this morning they weren't there, but I've not had confirmation. I thought, yeah, I've heard the same, Sarah P. I've heard the same, that they weren't going to it. But we've not heard confirmation of who's there, who's not. I haven't anyway. So I've heard there's a ton of reporters in there, but that's about it. So anyway, right, what else we got here? He said 10-minute breaks, didn't he? So not got long here. If they're not there, then they've only got one more family left. Plus, he's got stuff to say, obviously. Defense might have something to say. I don't know. I'm not sure if Kohberger's going to say anything. He may decide to say something. We don't know. He has the option to say something if he wants to. But whether he will or whether he will say something from his attorneys, I don't know. So okay. But that was quick, don't you think? When he said break for 10 minutes, this came back on bang straight like that. Oof. So, oh man, heartbreaking. Oh. I don't think he'll make it. I don't know. I didn't think Stephen Stearns would make a statement, to be honest with you. So I think he can sell his story. Yes, I think he can. I don't know what the rules are in Idaho, but in some states they don't allow it, but in most states they do allow it. He could sell his story. I'm not sure if he will speak, but he might have a statement. Only if he addresses his family. I don't know. We'll see. But I didn't think Stephen Stearns was going to say anything, but he did. So, hey, sweetie. DLCG must be a plea deal. Yeah, I know. 2 plea deals. They've been coming like buses now. I wonder if Donald Adelson will take a plea deal. I wonder. I don't see BK's in it. I don't know. He's a narcissist. But I said the other day, yesterday, Monday, Stephen doesn't like the media, so he probably won't say anything. But BK obviously probably does, but he probably won't say anything. Do you know what I mean? He might just wait. Do you know what? I'm only going to speak in my book, and that's it. He's got memoirs. He's going to probably speak to different people and get it all in print, and that's when he'll speak. But hey, I don't know what narcissists ever think about, so I don't know. Well, hopefully we get back shortly so we can get this, go through this. Just so the families can just be done with it. That closure, the waiting and stuff is horrendous. Kaylee would have kicked your fucking ass. What a line. . Let's see if there's any movement back in court. No. No movement. So they're not back in. Hey, Dana. No, none. We've not blamed you at all today, to be quite honest. This is the first time I've been on screen, just waiting for the court to come back, and then I'm jumping off screen again. So you've not been blamed at all today yet. Now, the longer I'm on screen, the more chance there is for you to be blamed. But for now, you're not blamed. For a change. You never say these things. I don't want to say too much because, as I say, it's about the plenty of time to blame Dana. It's a Christmas miracle. Do you remember what a Christmas miracle is?
It's Christmas time in the US and Wales. Santa Chappie is happy, sharing some tales, telling stories of Christmases from not long ago, while El Chatty is here enjoying the show. It's Christmas time with El Chappie. We're all here together and we're happy. We wish you well, can't you tell? Hurry, Dylan, prep that food, make it snappy. As Dylan, he stays busy as he's looking at his list. Be they naughty, be they nice, he hopes no one gets pissed. The Happy Days show is for all to enjoy, except for Dana, that wanker Speedo boy. It's Christmas time with El Chappie. We're all here together and we're happy. We wish you well, can't you tell? Hurry, Dylan, prep that food, make it snappy. There's lots of love in the chat for each other. Everyone treats the other like their brother or sister in some cases, don't you know? Aaron Hack's bus is coming with El Chappie in tow. It's Christmas time with El Chappie. Sherry D and Rhode Island lady are happy. So is Lisa Reed and Disney Queen. Come on, Christmas, hurry up, don't be mean. Sassy, Toots, Sarah P are all here, and Mark and Bev and Stacy share the cheer. And then, of course, we have the Sweeneys. We love Tracy more than Dana, such a weenie. It's Christmas time now and then. Robin G will be riding through the glen. Boston Amy is also here, while the following folks share the cheer. Rhodey Di, Gary Beeston, Hippie Chick, Crystal, Heather Taylor, Daffy Dill, Les, Daniel F, Ruka Shrew, Half Pint Viv, Terry Martin, Yaya Trucker, Kelly Eggleston, Corn Pope Keith. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Lots of names there that are no longer here. Yeah, that was. I've not played that for ages. Anyway, these are some of the. Rest in peace to Sassy Bartender, who's no longer with us. So rest in peace, Sassy. So again, Dana's fault. He wanted Christmas music. So these are some pictures from the court today. So here we go. This is inside the court. He's chained up, as you can see. So there you go. Right, I'll get caught. So those are from the pool camera. They're inside the court today. If you're not included, I don't know if you are included or not, to depict, if I'm being honest with you. If you're not included, then this is why we blame Dana for everything. So thank you, Dana. He did create that, so thank you. That was at a period, one day in chat when everyone was in chat. He took the names from chat, and you mustn't have been there. Totally Pip, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, that was from last year, very much from last year. That video. Looks like he's getting a prison punch. Yeah, I know. He won't last long in prison. Probably not. Right, come on, court. Let's get back. So we'll be done with this for the family's sake. I still can't believe this. You may have gotten A's in college, but you'll be getting big D's in prison. That is what a smackdown. What a smackdown. So, yeah, you need to do a new one, Dana, because most of the people who are naming that don't even come here anymore. So you do need a new one. I don't think I'd recognize half the fucking names anymore. So there you go. Love that song. Thanks for liking. Yeah, well, you can blame Dana for that. He said Christmas, so that's why I played it. So you see, Dana, you would have got a... Oh, here we go. Right, shut up.
Be seated. All right, Ms. Jennings.
Thank you, Your Honor. The next family is the family of Zana Kernodal. And first would be Jasmine Kernodal, Zana's sister. Thank you to everyone who's been involved in this and just for all the hard work and dedication you guys have put into this. I just want to thank everyone for the support and just my family and friends who've been around through this time. I went back and forth on whether to speak today because the truth is you don't deserve power over my feelings, my words, or me.
Thank you. In the end, I realized this moment isn't about you. It's about justice for Zana, Ethan, Kaylee, and Maddie. It's about honoring the beautiful people they were and still are in God's eyes. On November 13th, 2022, a piece of my heart was ripped away. There's no way to ever fully describe the weight of losing my sister, my best friend. No sentence or punishment will ever come close to the justice Zana, Ethan, Kaylee, and Maddie deserve. Zana was everyone's best friend. She was kind, she was funny. She was a gift to each person she was able to make an impact on. Zana was someone I turned to when I needed direction or advice. Although I am her older sister, I often found myself looking up to her. She had a radiant energy that everyone loved, and she always knew the right way to approach a problem. She knew how precious and special life was, and she truly did live every day to the fullest. Yet her story was cut short by an act of evil. I believe in a God whose justice is not bound by this courtroom. I find peace knowing that judgment ultimately belongs to him. For your sake, I hope one day you feel the full weight of what you did. I hope you take accountability. I hope you truly experience the guilt and you surrender yourself to Jesus Christ. Because no punishment on this earth can ever compare to the isolation and pain of eternal separation from God. Zana deserved more. They all did. But I come here to say this. I am strong. I am brave. I'm a fighter, just like Zana.
and you don't get to control how I move forward or what I believe. I walk with the comfort of knowing I will see my sister again. Zana didn't get the future she deserved. She won't be the maid of honor at my wedding, the cool aunt to my future children. I'll never hear her laugh or see her light up a room ever again. But I will carry her with me for the rest of my life. I will live in her honor, fight to be the best kind of woman and someone she's proud of, to make sure the world never forgets who she was. Zana's story doesn't end with what was taken from her. It lives through the love she gave, the people she touched, and the legacy our family will protect. Her light still shines, and her voice will echo louder than this pain. You didn't take that from us, and you never will.
Thank you.
I just want to say before I start, I'm Zana's dad, Jeff Kernodal. It's been a hard road down, you know, because she's gone. And I want to thank everybody, other their families that's speaking so far, spoke about things. I agree with everything they have to say. It all comes back to a lot of the same things that I've had to deal with and we as a family have had to deal with. And that brings me, you know, basis of what I'm talking about a little bit is on my way up here, flying up here in the plane and about halfway through the flight, this little girl calling out for her dad. Hey, dad. And then in my mind, I was kind of half asleep. It's dark on the plane. I heard Zana calling out for me like she did, you know, back when she was little, 5 years old. And those times were hard. It was chaotic, but we always had something to work toward that was in a positive direction compared to right now, which is necessarily not as positive as that for sure. And I know I miss Zana a lot. My life's been changed, and Zana had a great impact on me. And the impact was when she was gone, I realized how important she was and what she really did for me, influenced me, was way beyond what I ever thought. She'd call me up on the weekends, check on me, see who's with me. She's like accountability to your youngest daughter. And that really made a big difference. It made me really think about things and what it's all about, you know? That's the things that I miss the most is those calls on the weekends, the calls at 11 at night. What's going on? You want to meet my friend? You know, whoever she's with, a couple of her friends, I can meet them, talk to them. And she always did that. And it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I really miss that. And she made a big impact on me, on other people, her family. But the impact that she made is so extensive on what happened here. And it goes so far. People from everywhere in the world, you know, are following things, and Zana has made a difference in their lives. So, you know, countless people told me that they might not even know her. They never knew anything about her. It's what they see, and they just love her and say how they wish she could have been their friend. You know, could have been their friend, could have hung out. And it's like, this is a blessing, you know, this is the little kid was. And definitely was a big blessing in my life. And so is Jasmine. And basically, you know, we worked hard to do the things we did, you know, through the times they were growing up. And through those times, I realized that I wanted both of them to graduate college, and that'd be the ultimate thing for them to do to prepare for the world. Then it came back to me, Zana didn't get to finish college. He had it all figured out. And this all just came back to me when I was there and that little girl was on the plane doing that. It's like where I was going, what I was going here for. And then I just realized and thought to myself about the wonderful life that she had and we had together. And we, I still get to have with Jasmine, but that's the part that really counted. It's the part that really counted is those memories. And those are what I have left, the memories with her and the ones I can make with her and the life that I can go on with now, which is what she wants. And I say that in present tense because that's what she wants, because I've been told that, I've been countless ways that she's out there and has a way to communicate, which I'm very grateful for. That goes to say that the impact of what happened to them, all 4 kids, goes so much further than just not me, the parents, the families, the community. It goes so far because a lot of kids, in the colleges, just for an example, they locked their doors now. The door wasn't locked in the back. Penn State or wherever it was, all the colleges I know that I've heard, they all lock their doors now. So maybe the impact that it's going to make is going to help out and maybe protect some people. Having this outreach and having the influence of what happened to these kids did, all I know is I was 7 miles away when it happened, and she wasn't feeling that good. It was 11:30, and I almost went over to Susanna's to say, and I would have been sitting right there on that couch, and you had to deal with me. So they would have had a chance, and I regret that, and I regret not going. But the reason why I didn't is because Zana said, "Don't be drinking and driving. You got the rental car. Don't be drinking and driving." The week before that, so she was she would have been mad at me to do that. But I really wish I would have drunk and drove, because they would have had a chance, all 4 of them. At this point, I just have to go on. We're gonna go on with everything and make things better in my life, because that's what it's all about. About closure in things. And the part that we miss is Zana, her influence, her smile, the things that she did. And we have the memories left, the great memories. And she just wants us to make more memories and not be sad or upset or shocked or taken for that, And that's what we're going to do. We just have to. That's all I got.
Thank you for your words and your courage, and bless your family.
Next, Kim Kernodal would like to address the court.
Thank you, Your Honor. My name is Kim Kernodal. I am Zana's aunt. I was very blessed to have her in my life, in our family. And I thought I had everything in my head, what I wanted to say, but it kind of went out. And I'm always looking for the positive thing, because evil, hate can destroy people. And that's what it started doing with our family. It created anger with our family members. And then I had to look Because Zana was everything that the media, her friends said. She was that fun, loving, high-spirited, beautiful person. And I no longer get to get my nails done with her, have lunch with her. Sorry. But how I look at it now is this tragedy, this horrible tragedy on all of the 4 children has brought us closer. You united us with your actions. We're united now and we're stronger than ever. We have family and friends now that we never knew we had. And, you know, this is probably going to bother everybody, but Bryan, I'm here today to tell you I have forgiven you because I no longer could live with that hate in my heart. And for me to become a better person, I have forgiven you. And anytime you want to talk and tell me what happened, get my number. I'm here, no judgment, because I do have answers or questions that I want you to answer. And I'm here. I'll be that one that'll listen to you. Okay? Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
My name is Stratton Kernodal, and I'm Xana's uncle, Jeff's brother. Sitting here today listening to all the stories and feelings and feeling the pain from everybody is a pretty powerful thing. It's each time a statement was read, it sort of would tug into my center core as I felt everybody's anguish. And Zana meant a lot to us, and we loved her very much. But I started thinking about, instead of rehashing everything that everybody else has talked about, I wanted to direct it another direction toward Bryan and what he's done to his family, his parents, his siblings, his friends, his universe. He has contaminated, tainted their family name, and pretty much made a horrible, miserable thing to be ever related to him. And I know that that's what he has to live with, and that has to be his pain. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Next, Your Honor, I believe Randy Davis, stepfather to Zana Kernodal, would like to address the court.
Hi, my name's Randy, stepdad of Zana. I just feel the same way we all do. All of us are united because of something that happened. And I'm grateful to know and have met some new family because of this awful event. But this is probably the last time we're all going to be in the same room together. Let's be real. So I can say, I love you all, and I feel your pain. And just God bless us all, you know, just get through it. I had stuff wrote up. It was probably best I didn't read it out. Probably get kicked out of here. So, you know, I'll share one thing to you guys, not to you, with Zana. So I was working in North Dakota and came home, and Jazzy and Zana had taken our son Elijah and put him in a dress, makeup, and it was awful, you know. I was like, I don't know. She was funny. I told her she'd be in the movies and be somebody great one day like that. And now she is just above us as an angel with all the other beautiful kids. So let's hold that to our hearts, because this evil thing is not going to take nothing from us. You, man, I don't know what my limits are here, but I'm really struggling, dude. I am struggling. So I want to just be out in the woods with you just so I can teach you about loss and pain. I love God. I wouldn't take your life. That's up to him. But I guarantee you, you are weak. God, I would just give a moment, man, 5 minutes out in the woods. Oh, man. Ooh. You're going to go to hell. I know people believe in other stuff. You're evil. There's no place for you in heaven. You took our children. You are going to suffer, man. I'm shaking because I want to reach out to you, but I hope you feel my energy, okay? Go to hell.
Next is Cara Northington, Zana's mother.
I'm Cara Northington. I am Zana Kernodal's mother. This letter is to you, really, but it's for my daughter, who was murdered by you. Today I stand before you, the man who is responsible for murdering my beautiful daughter, Zana Kernodal. My daughter was beautiful both inside and out. She possessed love for those around her and had a light so bright it will live on forever in our hearts. She brought joy and laughter to her friends, her family, and anyone in her presence. Our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, now has her in his loving arms in heaven, where she can never be harmed ever again for eternity. Because of her, I came to know my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Because of her, many will come to Christ. It is Christ who lives in me that has given me the strength to forgive you. It was of no power of my own. In return, the Lord has filled me with joy, hope, and peace that surpasses all understanding. Jesus has allowed me to forgive you for murdering my daughter without you even being sorry or asking for this. This is only possible because he who lives in me is greater than any evil in this world. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. I do not fear you or even let you rent space in my head anymore. This forgiveness has released me from any and all evil you have inflicted on me and my family. It has allowed me to let our Lord deal with you. You have accepted a deal that will prevent you from receiving the death penalty. Nothing man can do to you can ever compare to the wrath of God. Inevitably, you will stand before our Lord and will have to answer to him over the sins you have committed in murdering our children. I pray you come to the end of yourself before that day. Whether you like it or not, heaven is for real and so is hell. The innocent life of Zana that you stole from myself and my family, and the destruction it has caused. I am washing my hands of you and turning you over to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, whom vengeance belongs to, In closing, I want to read a passage from the Bible, Ephesians 6, King James Version. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and then in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, that ye may be able to stand in the evil day. I'm not going to share memories of Zana or any more of the goodness of her with you, because I do not want that to be in your head. I don't want it to be in your head. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve our good memories that we have. I do pray for you. I pray that you come to the end of yourself. I pray that before this life is over, that you ask our Lord and Savior in your heart and to forgive you. I do pray for that. But after today, I wash my hands of you, and you are no longer a thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't believe the state has any other victim impact statements.
Okay. All right, state can argue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just as a housekeeping matter to start, there will be the issue of restitution. That is, the documentation is being gathered, and we ask the court would defer that for 30 days so we can present it in an orderly fashion and make sure it's comprehensive for everyone.
Any objection to leaving restitution open in 60 days? All right.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think it's necessary and appropriate to share for everyone here, including the court, the background that brings us in front of Your Honor today for these proceedings. As the record reflects, and as everybody in this courtroom knows, the defendant has pleaded guilty to all 5 counts charged in the indictment. Under oath before Your Honor, he has admitted that the charges against him are true. He has reassured the court that he has not been coerced or threatened to make those admissions. And Your Honor did an extraordinary job in taking the pleas back on July 2nd. We appreciate the court's discipline and insight. The defendant has also waived appeal on the multitude of rulings from this court and Your Honor's predecessor in Latah County on dozens, literally dozens of motions seeking to dismiss the case, seeking to control or limit evidence, seeking to offer evidence that would not be appropriate. And we appreciate the court's consistent rulings based on the law, based on the facts. As Your Honor will recall, on June 18th, it's just really not that long ago, we appeared before this court for arguments on what became the defendant's final motions to this court. Motion where they wanted to offer evidence suggesting that other people were responsible for the defendant's actions, and the motion seeking essentially an indefinite continuance of the trial. It was readily apparent to all of us in the courtroom from Your Honor's comments that those motions were not going to be granted. So we returned to Moscow and continued with what we had been working on for months in preparation for trial. We had no qualms about going to trial if trial was what was necessary and appropriate. The following week after we were in court, we were approached by the defense with an inquiry about a possible plea. And I can tell the court this is the first suggestion ever that there was any consideration, because indeed the defense had maintained from the beginning that Mr. Kohberger, the defendant, was factually innocent. It's clear that the reality of the evidence and the case that had been investigated and prepared and that we were ready to present in court became a reality. Our reaction, among other things, was to reach out to all the families. And in fact, later that week, on Thursday and Friday of that last week of June, we met with representatives by teams, virtual meetings, with representatives of all the families. And we talked about the status of the case and the upcoming trial and things that related to the trial. And we also let them know that there had been an inquiry about whether there might be an offer for a plea. And we asked the family members for their thoughts and feelings. And they were candid. And they have been candid since, and we respect that. And we understand, recognize, and acknowledge that there was a difference of opinion among representatives of the different families. We understand that. One of the challenges of this case, one of the unique things about this case is we have multiple victims, each unique unto themselves, their families and friends unique unto themselves, and all of them entitled to their opinions, all of them entitled to their thoughts. Over the following weekend, our prosecution team, very skilled attorneys who were personally as well as professionally deeply invested in this case, met. And we talked, and the decision was reached. Well, to start with, were there to be any sort of plea offer or discussion, there's only one possibility. And that would be for the defendant to plead guilty straight up to all charges. There would be no bargaining about counts. There would be no bargaining about reduced sentences. And so we made the proposal to the defense that if the defendant was willing to plead guilty up front to all 5 counts as charged and waive appeal of the court's myriad decisions during the past 2.5+ years on all these motions that would have consumed years, if not decades, of time in the future. By the end of the weekend, we were notified the defendant was prepared to plead guilty as charged and factually acknowledge his responsibility in court for these horrible crimes. Obviously, those discussions and negotiations were confidential. And as Your Honor noted, I believe that was necessarily so, because if the defendant had decided not to plead guilty, it would have been devastating to our jury pool for there to be public information that there had been consideration by either party to a plea resolution. And protecting the prospective integrity of the trial after so many years was paramount. So, the end of the weekend came. We notified the victims' families. of what had occurred. I recognize and acknowledge personally, and I respect the fact that of these fine, suffering people here, not everybody agreed with the decision we make. I accept that. It's my responsibility in the end. I recognize that that's the duty of the office that I hold. So now, it is time for the judicial system to impose final judgment and close the door on this chapter of these tragedies. As the court is aware, by the agreement of the parties, it is the state's prayer. Perhaps have the Elmo police turned on. Thank you. That on count one, the felony burglary, that the court sentenced the defendant to the maximum period of 10 years fixed in the custody of the Idaho Department of Correction. Then on count two, that the court sentenced the defendant to fixed life for the murder of Maddy Mogen. On count three, that the court sentenced the defendant to fixed life for the murder of Christy Gonzalez. On count four, that the court sentenced the defendant to fixed life for the murder of Zana Kernodal. On count five, that the court sentenced the defendant to fixed life for the murder of Ethan Chapin. And the state further prays that these sentences be ordered to run consecutively, back to back, not at the same time, to recognize and respect the unique individuality of each of these beautiful young people whose lives were taken brutally and for no reason. And hopefully now, as we have heard earlier this morning, it is time to afford the families and the friends and the community and the state of Idaho and the nation and the world to move forward. We can't undo, and we can never undo, the horror of what occurred on the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022 at 1122 King Street in Moscow, Idaho. For a long time, the presiding district judge in Latah County was John Stegner, who eventually became a member and a justice of the Idaho Supreme Court. And Justice Stegner often observed that even God cannot change the past. But everyone in this room has the ability to take themselves forward. And we want the judicial system to afford them the opportunity today to do that. From today forward, our memories should be focused on these innocent victims whose lives were taken, on their families, on their friends, on the community. The court has heard discussion, talk today, reminiscences today about a special family that our victims shared, not just their natural legal and biological families, not just their university family within their sororities, for example. But this family. This is the picture taken on November 12th, 2022, of the special family of 1122 King Road. And you can see all 6 of these dynamic, vibrant, loving, special, innocent faces taken together just across the street from their residence, and barely 12 hours before 4 of them would be brutally murdered in their sleep. They've been described consistently as being bright, caring, vivacious, with futures we can only imagine now. But they were, and they remain, a special family that I think we should all recognize and appreciate. So it's time to move forward. There have been a number of statements directed specifically at the defendant today. I have one last thought. After Your Honor imposes judgment and sentences the defendant to spend the rest of his life in prison, in other words, sentence the defendant to die in prison, he's going to stand up in the belly chains and leg irons that he's wearing today, and he's going to be escorted into the custody of the Idaho Department of Correction. And the door will close behind him forever. That is the closure that we seek, that all of these people, these loving friends and family deserve, so that we can move forward. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, does the defense have evidence to present today? All right. Does defense wish to make argument today? All right, Mr. Kohberger, you have an opportunity to make a statement if you wish to. I take it you are declining.
I respectfully decline.
Well, please. All right, let me start this morning by acknowledging and thanking those that have come here today in support of their loved ones. And I appreciate your courage and your strength. And I hope that you are able to move on as best as possible. Thank counsel for the professionalism that they've exhibited throughout this case. It has been my great honor to preside in this case and to help bring, to the extent possible, some resolution and hopefully justice to this case. During the quiet morning hours of November 13, 2022, a faceless coward breached the tranquility of 6 beautiful young people and senselessly slaughtered them, 4 of them, Who committed this unspeakable evil was unknown for several weeks, but due to the killer's incompetence and outstanding police work by numerous local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies, the person that slithered through that sliding glass door at 1122 King Road now stands before the world and this court unmasked. This unfathomable and senseless act of evil has caused immeasurable pain and loss. No parent should ever have to bury their child. This is the greatest tragedy that can be inflicted upon a person. Parents who took their children to college in a truck filled with moving boxes had to bring them home in hearses lined with coffins. The loss this killer inflicted was not just the death of these people's children, siblings, grandchildren, as we've heard today. It has ripped a hole in their soul, destroying a special part of their very essence. Any person who is a parent defines themselves foremost as such. It is their existence and purpose of being. And it has been stolen from these parents. None of us have experienced the loss these victims have in the unspeakable way that they have. And therefore, none of us can, nor should we, question the way in which they have handled their loss. Whether that be in private mourning, removed as far as possible from this media circus, or in front of a camera demanding retribution with the loudest megaphone. I've listened intently to the stories and pain that have been shared today with great awe at the courage and resilience of the surviving family members of those wonderful children. I've listened also to the surviving roommates, both in person and through their friends. And I can't think of how, frankly, courageous they have been despite the hell that they have faced by uncaring people who have come up with all kinds of crazy theories about two kids simply being kids. The parents, siblings, and other family members who have spoken today are designated as victims in our legal system. But going forward, I hope that they can shed that label, as it gives too much power to the evil that condemned them to that role. They are and should be known as survivors, fighters, and foremost as witnesses to the tremendous lives of value and unbounded promise of these four young people. But those speaking today and those who did not speak, but who carry the same burden, this same loss, now carry forward the memories of these now perpetually young people, these forever children. These survivors carry the responsibility of ensuring that the voices of these children, Maddie, Kaylee, Zana, and Ethan, are never forgotten, and the positive impacts that they have had on so many lives are never minimized, and that the love they shared, the light that they shined onto others is forever celebrated. As we sit here today, this case is ending, and we are now certain who committed these unspeakable acts of evil, but we don't know, and what we may never know is why. I share the desire expressed by others to understand the why. But upon reflection, it seems to me, and this is just my own opinion, that by continuing to focus on why, we continue to give Mr. Kohberger relevance. We give him agency and we give him power. The need to know what is inherently not understandable makes us dependent upon the defendant to provide us with a reason, and that gives him the spotlight, the attention, and the power he appears to crave. Yet even if I could force him to speak, which legally I cannot, How could anyone ever be assured that what he speaks is the truth? Do we really believe, after all of this, he's capable of speaking the truth or of giving up something of himself to help the very people whose lives he destroyed? Rather, I suspect the so-called reason would be dished out in enticing, self-serving, and aggrandizing untruthful bits, leaving people wanting more information, more insight, and thus enhancing even further the power he seeks to hold. Even if we could get truthful insight into his why, I suspect it would not in any way quench one's thirst for actually understanding why in the first instance. Because there is no reason for these crimes that could approach anything resembling rationality. No conceivable reason could make any sense. And in the end, the more we struggle to seek explanation for the unexplainable, the more we try to extract a reason, the more power and control we give to him. In my view, the time has now come to end Mr. Kohberger's 15 minutes of fame. It's time that he be consigned to the ignominy and isolation of perpetual incarceration. I know there has been concern about him collaborating on books or movies or other media projects, and I truly hope that someone does not stoop to affording him this spotlight that he desires in the name of clicks, royalties, or profits. While criminal behavioralists should study him away from the spotlight in an attempt to prevent other would-be killers from acting on their worst impulses, there should be no need for that to spill over into the public eye. The great Idaho jurist Edward Lodge was known for trying to find something positive about every person he ever sentenced. And with over a half a century as a trial judge, that was a lot of people. This was often challenging, and I recall in one case he said that the best he could come up with was the defendant had good penmanship. Truth be told, I'm unable to come up with anything redeeming about Mr. Kohberger because his grotesque acts of evil have buried and hidden anything that might have been good or intrinsically human about him. His actions have made him the worst of the worst. Even in pleading guilty, he is giving nothing hinting of remorse or redemption, nothing suggesting even a recognition or understanding, let alone regret for the pain that he has caused. And therefore, I will not attempt to speak about him further, other than to simply sentence him so that he is forever removed from civilized society. And accordingly, based upon his conduct and based upon the record before this court, recognizing the standards that govern this court's sentencing decisions as set forth in State v. Toohill, I hereby sentence Mr. Kohberger as follows. On count 1, burglary, 10 years fixed, 0 years indeterminate. I also impose a fine of $50,000. Count 2, first-degree murder of Madison Mogen. I sentence the defendant to a fixed term of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, a fine of $50,000, and a civil penalty of $5,000 payable to the family of the victim. On count 3, for first-degree murder of Cheryl Gonzalez, I sentence the defendant to a fixed term of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, a fine of $50,000, and a civil penalty of $5,000 payable to the victim of the family, or to the family of the victim, pardon me. On count 4, for the first-degree murder of Zana Kernodal, I sentence the defendant to a fixed term of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, a fine of $50,000, and a civil penalty of $5,000 payable to the family of the victim. On count 5, for the first-degree murder of Ethan Chapin, I sentence the defendant to a fixed term of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, a fine of $50,000, and a civil penalty of $5,000 payable to the family of the victim. The sentences on counts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 shall run consecutively to one another. Restitution will be left open for 60 days. Defendant will be required to submit a DNA sample and a right thumbprint impression to the Department of Corrections and comply with the DNA Database Act. I remand the defendant to the custody of the Idaho State Board of Corrections for to be imprisoned in an appropriate facility and execution of the sentence where he will remain until he dies. Though you have waived your right to appeal, you do have a right to file a notice of appeal, and any such appeal must be filed within 42 days of the date of the written judgment, which will be entered shortly hereafter. Though the appeal, you should be aware, may be deemed a violation of the plea agreement, and so I certainly suggest you discuss that with counsel if that is your desire. I ask the media and public present to allow the families to be escorted out first before they leave. Again, thank you to everyone for your stories today. I am strengthened by them, and I am encouraged by your humanity and strength. And God bless you. We're adjourned.
He's a no messing. Wow, I did. What a good judge. I know lots of people didn't like that judge, but I thought he was really good. May not always agree with his decisions, but the fact he couldn't think of one redeeming quality of Bryan Kohberger says everything you need to know about him. Obviously, he is privy to everything. He's seen all the sealed documents. Obviously, the meetings hearings that had to be done behind closed doors. So he knows a hell of a lot more than what anybody else does. So, I thought I'd come back on. No, it was fine. Hang on, let me go see another stream to see the outside, the families coming out and stuff. Hang on. We need another stream for that. Right, hang on then. Let's see if I can get one. No, everybody is in limbo. I'll leave it on just in case, because they should go to the outside. But then these streams have to reconnect and stuff as well. So, like that stream's offline. Let's go scroll Core TV or Law and Crime then. Yeah, Law and Crime still going. Standby, right? They are going live outside. So let me go to that one. So here we go. I thought the judge's words were very impactful. I thought he was very good, what the judge said there. I thought that was, the family would appreciate it. I know that the prosecutor asked for Bryan to be stood up, thumbprints, everything, and everyone to watch him go, which I thought was a good idea, actually. But the judge wasn't having it. I think he's just got protocols and things he needs to deal with, I suspect. So, no, it is, he has to pay it, but then he will either never pay it, or if he does have a book deal, he will have to pay it from all that. So, from a civil suit, they will get $5,000. The fine, I don't know where the fine goes, to be quite honest. He can't, yeah, I know, but he can't. I think that's the mandatory amount of $5,000 that he can give. I don't think he can give any more than that.
Because of something happened, and I'm grateful to know and have met some new family because of this awful event. But this is probably the last time we're all going to be in the same room together.
Oh, they're playing that again.
So I can say
that's from that, so I'm not going to play that again. Let me see if I can get another stream here then. So I do not want to. Oh, here we go. I got one here. Right, I got a better one here. Hang on. Let's go here. So that's the outside of the court. I'll mute you for a second. No, he didn't have to stand or anything. That would basically, he did he have to stand last time? I don't remember if he had to stand last time or not. That was more of a because confirming the record. I don't remember the other. Did he have to stand last time? I don't remember, to be quite honest with you. I don't remember. Also, they might just not want him to start. I have no idea. So we'll see if there's any interviews now. There probably will be some interviews. Obviously, everyone could speak now. Well, they could have last week, but no one did. But will the defense or prosecutor say anything else today? We'll see. And if the family want to add some more, maybe Steve Gonzalez wants to say some more stuff. Obviously, he kept himself quiet. I was impressed by him, by the way. I was impressed by his composure. I honestly thought he was going to kick the shit into people. So, yeah, the media are asked not to go out. So, no. To the Pip, yes, last time it was, but I'm not sure if he had to stand for the last bit of like guilty. I don't remember. Yeah, he probably had to sit through it all. I don't know. My memory's not that good on that bit. I think this was more about the acceptance and just cementing fully the charges. It was you could tell the judge was disgusted by him, totally disgusted by him. Just the fact that he couldn't even find one redeeming quality tells you everything. Also, I'll just say this as well. I know there are still people who believe he's innocent and stuff. I'm not belittling that or whatsoever, but just remember that he also knows everything in this case. The things that none of us know, have never seen, he's seen it all, and that disgust he showed shows me a lot that, you know, it'll take months for everything to come out, but eventually it will all come out. There will be another hearing before what do you call it? About what both sides want to seal, like autopsy pictures and stuff like that. They will be kept sealed, hopefully. Well, they should be anyway. So I imagine they will all be kept sealed. The scene of the crime might be kept sealed as well. I don't know. They're going to have to have another hearing about that. Judge mentioned appeal, but then said he would break plea agreement. So how could he appeal? So basically, if he wants to appeal, he can within 42 days. It just means that the plea deal is out the window. The plea deal then is no longer in place, and it's back to, well, if it's accepted and everything, because technically he's had the opportunity to go to trial. He denied himself that opportunity. But yeah, he's got 42 days to put in a motion that he wants to appeal against this. And that just means that he breaks then the plea deal, which then means that potentially he could still go to trial. But I don't think that he would be able to do that anyway. I think the judge has been very, very concise. So even if he appeals, it doesn't mean that the judge then has to allow the appeal or anything like that. It's just a notice of appeal. It's not actually an appeal. But he has to put grounds at a why. And he said all along that he was satisfied with his representation. He is satisfied to plead guilty for every count. So what's changed? So that'll be very hard for him to do that. But if he did decide, if the judge did decide to accept it, that would then mean, okay, let's go. It will go to trial with the death penalty. Would that be due contamination, though, if he said, yeah, it would be. But at the same time, that's why the judge wouldn't have to accept his appeal, because of those reasons, in the sense of, this is why it's tedious at times, but this is why judges go through it in depth. You know, are you of sound mind? Have you taken on the alcohol? Have you done all this? Blah, blah, blah. Was your representation very good? That's why he asked Ann Taylor, do you believe that, you know, he's of sound mind and he is making this decision correctly? And she was like, yes, I do. Do you agree with this? Yes, I do. So they can't then use all those points as reasons for an appeal. He's had every opportunity to go to trial. So yeah, I couldn't see how he would be able to put a legal basis in for his appeal to be accepted. Because if he got accepted, you're right, Maxie, the jury pool will be totally contaminated. You could never have a trial ever in this county anywhere. That's why the prosecutor said, Bill said, the plea deal and stuff had to be kept quiet, because if that had come out, that would have contaminated everything. So, is that some of the family? I don't know. Oh, like the family coming out, I think. So, let's get the volume. Oh, yeah, they can. Yeah. He will speak to the cameras. He will.
As a prelude, it's been a long and emotional morning, so please show some grace to the families as they answer your questions. Thanks so much.
Well, it's almost been 3 years, and today's the end of a long, hard-fought battle. But we have our person, and we have him where he belongs. So for that, we are thankful for all the men and women that put the work together, put this case together, and once it's part of the court system, it was a little ugly, but we got that conviction, and we're glad to be moving on. Glad we can move on.
See, the family or the judge talked about how we may never know a lie, and it may not be worth it to try to answer the lie with something so sensitive. That makes sense to me. What do you feel about that?
There's some truth to that, but then, you know, there's also the fact that, I mean, what would he tell as a lie as to opposed to the truth, you know? So
The knife, if he gave the knife up, or if he gave a part of his kill kit, if he gave out facts that only the killer would know,
it would corroborate things.
it would corroborate things. And he even addressed there's been way too many conspiracies, and the surviving witnesses had to go through hell. Well, no better way to protect them than by getting some of those details. If you got those details, then, you know, it's as simple as just saying I did it solo would have been, you know, valuable, I think. And you know, we stand by the negotiation wasn't justice. It was just it was a shortcut, and we said from the very beginning we're not interested in the shortcut for our daughter. You know, and we wanted everything.
Stevie, you turned the podium at one point. Talk to us about why you wanted to stare at him face to face.
Because he's a coward. He's been protected by the court from day one, the minute that he was arrested. So I wanted to let him know that I was directing everything towards him, and you know, his days of being protected are coming to an end. You know, from what I've been explained, he gets on a van today, and he's got like 12-minute ride, and then he'll be the responsibility of Idaho State.
Were you planning on turning the podium though, or did you do that?
You know, I remember reading it saying "do not move," so I was like, well, I'm moving this. I just kind of made that decision right then and there. So, I want to make it as difficult as possible. I knew my daughter was going to do a speech, and I'd heard it, and I was like, he's going to hate this. He's going to hate this next set of people that are going to come forward and really rip into him and really expose him for what kind of a piece of trash he was. And we've been waiting a long time to say some of those things that needed to be said.
Stephen Jr., you chose not to speak now. Is there anything you said?
I'd written up a statement. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe this is where you go.
Okay. Well, allow me a second.
Maybe it wasn't court appropriate.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't. Yeah, my name's Stephen Gonzalez. I'm Kaylee's older brother. She was my little sister, my friend, the middle child in the heart of our family. There are no words that can fully describe her spirit, but if you knew her, you knew joy, you knew light, you knew someone who made everything better just by being in the room. My statement was largely grounded in one goal, and that was to do everything for anyone who listens to this and has to go through something similar, to not have to endure what we had. My family's fought tirelessly, not just for answers, but for accountability. We've stood in front of cameras, behind closed doors, and across from people who didn't want us to speak, but we did, and we won't stop now. Across nearly every murder case prosecuted by Bill Thompson, including the killing of University of Idaho football player Eric McMillan, there is a clear and troubling pattern. Families are left feeling unheard, justice is negotiated down through plea deals, and the public is left with unanswered questions. In the McMillan case, charges were reduced from first-degree to second-degree murder, prompting confusion and outrage from the victim's family and community. The same pattern is emerged in the Silas Parks and John Lee cases, both of which prosecuted by Bill Thompson, where capital-eligible crimes were resolved through plea agreements, sidestepping trials and diminishing public accountability. The most egregious of these crimes was the brutal killing of Whitney Parks, a young pregnant woman whose life was taken by her husband, Silas Parks, during a violent domestic assault. Whitney was only 22 years old. Whitney was beaten and strangled in her own home, an act of cruelty that not only ended her life, but also the life of her unborn child. And yet, despite the devastating nature of this crime, Bill Thompson reduced the charges from murder to voluntary manslaughter, ultimately securing a sentence that allowed Parks the possibility of parole after just 5 years. There was no trial, no full accounting of what Whitney endured, no acknowledgement in the legal outcomes of the child she was carrying. For Whitney's family, for anyone who believes that justice systems should speak forcefully for victims, this wasn't justice. It was a deal, and it was like so many others under Thompson's watch. It prioritized expedience over accountability. Now, almost predictably, we find ourselves reliving that pattern in the current case. Despite the magnitude and brutality of the crime, the prosecution chose to accept a plea deal behind closed doors, without trial, without ever consulting our family in any meaningful way. In fact, we learned from the plea deal that had been finalized from an email from the prosecution team. Not in person, not with warning, not with respect. That moment underscored what we feared all along, and that this case was following the same well-worn path toward expedience over justice. Sentencing once again fails to reflect the severity of the act, and the emotional fallout has landed again on the shoulders of the victims' families, who have been left out, unheard, and grieving not just a horrific loss, but a system that continues to bypass them. The through line is undeniable. Whether it's 2004 or 2025, this prosecutional, is that a word? Sorry. Prosecutional approach has consistently abandoned the very approach it is, or the very people it is supposed to protect. The trend you'll notice from Thompson's prosecuted crimes are the following: plea bargains avoiding capital punishment, charge reductions, sentences that misalign with the gravity of the crime, lack of trial due to plea bargains. These aren't just failures in process, they're failures that have real consequences for real people. After reviewing Bill Thompson's history, it's clear our family was never given a fair chance at justice. But this isn't just about a prosecutor's record. It's about Kaylee. It's about my sister. She's not just one of the Idaho 4. She was a daughter, a sister, a best friend, and the light in every room she walked into. When the prosecution followed the same path we've seen before, closed doors, limited input, and a plea deal handed down without our voice, it became painfully clear that Kaylee was being treated just like another case. But she wasn't. She was everything to us, and our pain has only deepened, knowing that the system didn't fight for her the way she deserved. I'll leave everyone with this. There's 1,000 things I wish I could say to Kaylee, but today I'll just say this. I will always carry her with me for the rest of my life, and I will never stop being her brother.
Steve,
Thank you.
Now that the gag order is lifted, is there anything that you've learned over the last 2.5 years from the investigators or the prosecutors that you can share with us now that you can speak about?
Well, I think it was kind of interesting that once the president sent a truth statement out, they called us right up and they told us everything. So I don't know what was holding them back before, but we spent about 3 hours, close to 3 hours with the lead detectives. And yeah, we found, because our main thing was we didn't want to have victims advocate statements that had lies and misquotes and misinformation in it. So I appreciate the president, putting a little bit of pressure on there, and it seemed to work. Up until that time, they told us they were not going to tell us, and we were going to have to just wait for the things to be unsealed. But yeah, it was horrific what Kaylee went through. Yeah, and I don't want to protect this guy, but I won't give out all the details. I'll be general. But yeah, she was stabbed over 30 plus times, and she was struck, and there was quite a bit of damage to her face. So this guy's just an absolute monster. Anyone who thinks that he's otherwise, I just looked at pure demons out there. When I was looking at him, we had a stare down, and he's just filled with demons. He's dark pits of eyes, and there's something seriously wrong with that man.
Steve, why was it important for you to look him directly in the eyes? And what did you see as you spoke to him?
I looked her straight in the eyes, and I just seen black holes and just anger at me. He was telling me with his face that he fucking hated me. He absolutely fucking hated me.
And why did you want to speak to him directly that way?
It's the most personal one. Like,
Yeah,
look at me
yeah,
in my eye. You took my daughter's life. Look at me.
Yeah,
Did your family get something today that needed, or was this?
Yeah, 100%.
I think it's a little early to actually even answer that for myself. I think that kind of stuff needs to set in and sink in, and you regret maybe saying some things, or you wish that you would have said things. So I think right now we're just kind of in the mix of the tornado, and the real feelings.
As the spotlight then fades, what do you want the public to remember?
Our main thing is hopefully this could be a template for another family that, you can use the media as much as they're using you. You can use it to keep people accountable, keep people honest, keep the court system, treating you with a little bit of respect. And I think that's what we did. And the more that you get active, I think the more chance that you're going to get that justice in the end. I think you really got to try to make your kids stand out, or whoever you're trying to protect, you make them real. Get on the internet and talk to people.
Before you go, and I know you want to go, I want to ask, Olivia today was spectacular. But Olivia asked the question, what was the other weapon you used on my sister? Despite this meeting you had with prosecutors, there still sounds like there's something real in there. Can you explain that to us?
No, we do know that another weapon was used on Kaylee. So we don't know what that weapon was, but
They didn't recover it.
along with the knife wasn't recovered. But Kaylee was not just stabbed. There was other things that happened to Kaylee.
Talk about that a little. The conversation we had with the prosecution was about healing more than anything. It was about giving the victims' families answers. And they may share some of that information at a later date, but today is not the day for that. Today is about the sentencing. It's about putting the defendant in prison for the rest of his life. So there may be more details to come about that, but that conversation that they had was about the healing process and finding some answers that they had. And so we may share at a later date, but today is not the day. Okay.
Thank you guys for being
Thanks.
Wow, didn't expect that. Right, we might get another family coming down now. I did not expect that. Wow. Right, we got Maddie's. Oh, they might not be doing anything then. They're waving them up. Oh, they're waving them up. They might not want to speak. Oh, no, they're coming down. It doesn't look like anyone else is going to speak then. No. The second weapon. Here we go. They go speak then probably.
Good afternoon. My name is Leander James. I am the pro bono attorney for Karen Laramie and Scott Laramie, the loving mother and stepfather of Madison Mogen. I ask that you please give your quiet attention to Scott. He would like to make a statement to you and to all those out there in support of them and the other families. Thank you.
Karen and I just left the sentencing where we gave our victim impact statement. Judge Hippler sentenced the defendant to the maximum allowable sentence under the plea agreement. The sentence will ensure that this evil will never again terrorize a family as he did ours and 3 others. Trial would have involved risks. Had the defendant been convicted, he may not have been given the death penalty. Had he been convicted of the death penalty, we would have had to endure years, maybe even decades of appeals. This way, his fate is sealed. Society is protected, and we can move on with our lives and attempt to recover. Maddie was our purpose and our hope. We remain lost without her, but we will find our way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Looks like they're going inside. Okay, I'm trying to find something. Okay, let's drop that because I don't think anything's happened there. This is, if you've not seen it, this is the Bryan investigates. He went to where Kohberger is allegedly going to be staying. So let's play that.
I'm outside the Idaho State Correctional Complex. This is where we believe that Bryan Kohberger is going to spend the rest of his life. In this episode, I'm going to take you through everything that I saw inside the maximum security prison here inside the complex. We actually got to go in the prison. I was in the prison for about 2.5 hours touring, which is really, really rare. Saw a ton of stuff. We went to a bunch of different cell blocks. We saw some of the areas where Bryan Kohberger could actually end up living for the rest of his life. And I'm going to walk you through all the details. I'm actually going to sit, it's like windy and really hot out here. I'm going to sit in the car, go through my notes, and tell you everything that I saw. Okay, so let me walk you guys through everything. Basically, we got permission to come out and tour the Idaho Maximum Security Institution, which is on this complex. I'm staying in Boise, Idaho, obviously, for the Bryan Kohberger sentencing. So we drove out here. It's like about a 25-minute drive to this area where we are called Kuna. It's south of Boise, middle of the desert out here. There's like nothing around where these prisons are. So drove about 25 minutes, came out, started at the guard gate. They checked my ID. We were obviously scheduled to be here, so they let us through. And then there's several different prisons on the complex here. We were obviously going to the Idaho Maximum Security Institution, which is where we suspect that Bryan Kohberger will be taken. They were very careful not to say that because at this point, he still hasn't been sentenced and he also has to be evaluated. But this is the prison where the inmates who are the most dangerous, have committed the most dangerous crimes, who need to be in isolation. This is actually where they come. So I went in through the front gate. They've got like several different gates you have to go through. You have to wait in one area, wait for one gate to close, another one opens until you even get to the front door. When I got to the front door, there were metal detectors. So I went through the metal detector. I checked off my watch and obviously my cell phones and everything. And I was with my cameraman Mo for News Nation. And he, hopefully he wouldn't mind me saying this, but he had contraband actually. He has Zins. And so they were like, oh, this is contraband. So he had to take his Zins back to the car. And so we finally got in. I had to check in my cell phone, so I didn't have my cell phone, and the tour was like 2.5 hours, which was making me kind of neurotic not having my phone. But what I had is I didn't have paper because I always use my phone to take notes, but they gave me a notepad, and I was able to, I'm going to go through these notes now with you guys on this podcast of everything that I saw. So I wrote everything down. My handwriting is terrible, so just bear with me as I kind of go through these. So got through security. The warden met us and we started the tour, walking through the whole facility. The warden has been there for 28 years. It's basically there's 535 people. That's the capacity. It's the most severe facility in Idaho. It's where, the most dangerous prisoners go. Closed custody, long-term restrictive housing, they call it. Part of it, we went into this one unit where basically the prisoners are in these cells for 23 hours a day. They only get let out 1 hour a day. And this is where Kohberger could end up. And the reason is because not only are people here because they are dangerous and violent and can't be around other prisoners, which I don't really think Kohberger is like that in terms of a prison situation. At least my sources where he's been at other, jails have not said that he was like that. But another reason that he would end up there is because he has a target on his back. We believe, we've been told, he's a high profile prisoner. All the other prisoners know who he is. He murdered 4 innocent kids, and he could be targeted. So that's the reason that he would end up in a place like this, probably that's totally segregated. So basically these cells you see here, they stay 23 hours inside the cell. They get let out 1 hour a day. You see these chairs. This was kind of interesting. If they want to come out and sit in that chair, they're actually shackled to the chair. And then there were these like cages that almost look like phone booths. Basically, they will sometimes come out and put them in that like cage looking place where they can use a tablet to like do a visitation. The whole thing is very sterile. While we were there, you can see there's also these bean bags that they put at the bottom of the door. And that's because, that's my notes here. Sorry, I'm going to go through these notes to make sure I don't forget anything, but that's because the prisoners do something called fishing, and we actually caught it on camera. It's where they use a string from a blanket or a t-shirt and they put it under the door and they try to fish for something, or they try to send notes to another prisoner, and they also just kind of do it out of boredom, and we saw it happening while we were there. But that's why I specifically asked, like, why do they have these bean bags? And it's to prevent fishing, which that's the name of it. The phone booth cage was kind of alarming. It surprised me though that they all have a tablet. For $100 they can buy a tablet. So even though they're in the cell for 23 hours a day, they have their tablet where they can email, they can listen to music, they can play games on their tablet, and they have that all the time. And then also they can have a TV. So Bryan Kohberger could have a TV. They have to buy it themselves, but they're allowed to have a TV, and they have basic cable, so they can watch TV whenever they want, which I don't know why that kind of surprised me. Some people I was telling that to said, oh no, I figured they had TV, but I didn't realize they had it all the time in their cell in some of these areas, and that they could buy their own TV. Visitation. So the visitation mostly in that area would happen on the tablets. There was an area with visitation for some prisoners who aren't in solitary, basically, where they could go and talk to a loved one on like an old style payphone with glass. But I don't think that Bryan Kohberger is going to have that opportunity, at least not to begin with. Again, I don't know for sure, but all indications are he's going to end up in this segregated area, probably for fear that someone may actually hurt him. But again, he has to go through this whole evaluation process, and then they'll decide exactly where he ends up. They call it initial classification. That's what I wrote down. And he could, not him, anybody, even someone convicted of a really serious crime could end up in less serious, less secure custody, in something called medium custody. They explained if you have really good behavior in jail, you can still be downgraded to medium custody, even if you are convicted of really, really awful crimes, which I thought was interesting. A lot of what's determined once you're behind bars, where you are, the kind of treatment you get, the privileges you get, it's not based on the crimes that you committed. It's based on how you behaved once behind bars, which is, again, something that I didn't fully know. No one gets placed places based on crime. Many of them will only stay, these prisoners will only stay in the fully restrictive custody for a year. Death row, by the way, is also at the same facility, and all the death row inmates are kept together in the same area. We didn't see them today. They get to go outside for 1 hour a day. In this video, this is the area outside where they go. Again, very basic. The ones that are extremely violent have to stay in these cages that you see right here. They can't even just be outside free. They have to be in the cages the whole time. They don't get to just walk around outside. There hasn't been an escape, by the way. I asked that while we were outside there. There hasn't been an escape since 1991, and I'm not even sure you would classify it as escape. It was someone in this area who, I guess they had different chain link fence then, and climbed out the top, but didn't make it very far, I was told, before being picked up, like really just out here in the desert. Didn't even really get off the prison property. So so the outside area is very, very basic. I explained that they can buy the tablet. They have basic cable. They can even get a hot pot in some instances. They can buy groceries through the commissary and bring them. They can buy groceries and bring them into their cell. They can have a hot pot. That's all things that I didn't really realize was necessarily allowed. No conjugal visits, by the way. I actually asked about that. Maybe that was a crazy question to ask, but I guess you see it in the movies or whatever. But there are no conjugal visits allowed in Idaho. So that's not an option. There is a library and a computer lab. And, you know, prisoners who are on good behavior can spend time there. So that could be a possibility for Bryan Kohberger. It's kind of interesting. While we were there, there's this hunger strike happening in the prison in one of the cell blocks. There are 72 of the prisoners right now on this hunger strike. I guess it's like considered a peaceful protest in prison. But basically, they're upset. There's like different gangs in the prison. And I guess some of the gang members are upset that they're not able to be in the same area as other gang members who they want to see. And because they're so upset, they decided to do this hunger strike. And I guess it started on Friday. It started with 89 prisoners who are on a hunger strike. It's down to 72 now. They're refusing state offered meals. They may still be eating, I guess, because they buy food out of the commissary, but they're refusing state offered meals, and they've been on this hunger strike. So that was kind of interesting that we were in there while that was happening. Yeah, so that was kind of strange that if Bryan Kohberger ends up here, there's a hunger strike that's in process. But overall, I would say it kind of felt, I hate to say this, and I've only been in a prison once. It kind of felt like a zoo. Like, I mean, just the way they're housing people, and you get fed and they clean your cell. And, but to think, of what Bryan Kohberger did and what he did to these victims' families, obviously this is where he needs to be. I was surprised again that he will be able to have a TV all the time and a tablet if he's like the other prisoners here. That part surprised me. But at the same time, I guess if you're in a cell 23 hours a day, you need some kind of mental, that's sort of the way that it was explained. You need something to do, I guess. And it also, for many of the prisoners, keeping them busy keeps things in control. That's another thing that I learned. You don't want people to be totally bored. You don't want them to feel like they have to act out to get attention and that kind of thing. So they try to keep them, I guess, like stimulated would be the right word. In terms of when Bryan Kohberger will end up here, we don't know. The time frames can vary. Sometimes people will stay in the county jail longer and then be transferred. Sometimes it's days, sometimes it's a month. And also, again, there's a whole process that they go through where they evaluate a prisoner to figure out exactly where they belong in the system. The sentencing, of course, is happening whenever you're watching this. You might be watching this when the sentencing is already happening on Wednesday. So it's going to be an emotional day. And it's interesting. Having covered this from the beginning, being out here, realizing that this is probably the place where Bryan Kohberger is going to spend the rest of his life, out here in the middle of the desert in Idaho, south of Boise. And it was just kind of weird being in there too, thinking of all the bad people in there who have done just awful things, again, because it's the worst of the worst here. So that's what I learned about the prison today. Thanks for watching my video. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for supporting my new podcast. I'm super excited about it. It's just really energizing to have something new, to something that I know that I can talk as long as I want and that I can do it the way that I want. And I really appreciate all of your support. So I'm going to go to the sentencing tomorrow. I'll have more on that tomorrow. You can catch me on News Nation or here on the podcast. And I'm going to get back to work. So thank you guys for watching.
For more true crime, subscribe.
I sort of get it, because they're stuck there for 23 hours a day. They have to. Imagine you've got cable, gets to watch TV. Shit, nearly rolled off over my foot. It sounds a lot better than I thought it would be for him, if I'm being honest. At least he's locked away for 23 hours a day, and you see that he could be chained as well, if need be, so people can't get close to him. But it also makes sense what you're saying. There's a library there, though, so I imagine he will be in the library a bit as well. It doesn't... Yeah, I thought it'd be worse conditions than what he's in. I mean, it's still shit, don't get me wrong, but I thought it'd be worse than that. But anyway, I want to show you that quickly. Right, we've done all now, so thank you, everybody, for bearing with us today. So, yeah, we're going to end the stream there. I will, if you missed the intro, I will do it as the outro. Obviously, the 4 victims, and then I'll play the Zach one as well right at the end. So, Bella, Leona, I'm disabled. I'm in my room 23 hours a day. Sans chairs and shitty food. You'll get it far too. He's getting better than I thought he would if he gets there. Thank you, Sarah P. I will not be there tomorrow. Won't be here tomorrow. Might be a Friday, I'm not sure. But if not, probably be Tuesday. On that, hang on. Before we go. People, sorry. I should have checked this beforehand, and I didn't. Before we go, people, we got some thanks to give out. We got some. I think though, there's prisons that are a lot worse. I think that's what people wanted. I think he's going to be treated a lot better than that. I think everyone imagined he was. He's going to be living a life a lot better than he should be living. So that's what I think. There's other prisons that would treat them a lot worse than he's going to be treated. He's also going to be high priority, so he's going to be treated a little bit better initially anyway. Right, here we Thank you to Robert Macaulay, aka JMac. Thank you for this week's great streams. Today's was tough, but so powerful. Sending you love and luck tomorrow. Thank you very much to you, JMac, for the coffee. Thank you for that. And also Terry Martins, thank you so much for the 5 coffees. Thank you. Delan, thanks for showing this and being so compassionate. Thank you very much, Terry. And thank you both for your kind generosity. I appreciate it. Luckily, I checked that just now. Otherwise, I'd have gone without. I always do that. But thank you to you, ladies. Well, I should say Robert. He's not a lady, but but yeah, thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate that. And we will do the outros as we usually do. Yes, he could do his PhD. Yes, he will have library time. He can do everything like that. Yes, he could do PhDs. He can teach. He can do. It'll take a couple of years for him, but he will be allowed to do all that. Yes. Please, having. I haven't. No, I haven't. He's going to be ready. Well, it doesn't sound like he'll be having big D. Look, also, this is just the initial stage. He will be moved again. Potentially. No, I've not seen anything about police. He could be moved to a lesser prison with less safety measures. So, and also he might be put out to work and stuff. It might take 10 years, but he might have to go out and work and stuff like that, work detail and things like that. So there's a lot of stuff that can change. But for now, he's getting far too easy, easier than I think many people thought he would. No, because it happened in Idaho, Lou, they have to, he could request it, but it would be denied, so. Well, literally, again, things can change, people. It'll probably take 5 to 10 years, but things can change for sure. Right, here we go, everybody. I know J-Mac and Fury, you're going for the big Ds, so I'll let you go, and we will end on this. So if you saw it, obviously, that's fine, but if you haven't seen these are the outros, same as what the intros were, so I don't want you to be bored watching it twice, but here you go. Thank you, everybody. Much love. See you either Friday or Tuesday. Take care, everybody. Thanks again, J-Mac, and thanks again, Terry. Take care. Ta-ra.
I took the supermarket flyers from the windowsill. I threw the day-old tea from the cup. Packed up the photo album Matthew had made. Memories of a life that's been loved. Took the get well soon cars and stuffed animals. Poured the old ginger beer down the sink. Dad always told me, don't you cry when you're down. But Mum, there's a tear every time that I blink. Oh, I'm in pieces, it's tearing me up. But I know a heart that's broke is a heart that's been loved. So I'll sing hallelujah. You were an angel in the shape of my mom. When I fell down, you'd be there holding me up. Spread your wings as you go. When God takes you back, He'll say hallelujah, you're home. I fluffed the pillows, made the bed, stacked the chairs up. Folded your nightgowns neatly in a case. John said he'd drive, then put his hand on my cheek and wiped a tear from the side of my face. And I hope that I see the world as you did, 'cause I know a life with love is a life that's been lived. So I'll sing hallelujah. You were an angel in the shape of my mom. When I fell down, you'd be there holding me up. Spread your wings as you go. And when God takes you back, He'll say hallelujah, you're home. Hallelujah. You were an angel in the shape of my mom. You got to see the person I have become. Spread your wings and I know that when God took you back, He said hallelujah, you're home. How long till it feels like the wound's finally starting to heal? How long till it feels like I'm more than a spoke in a wheel? Most nights I feel that I'm not enough. I've had my share of Monday mornings when I can't get up. But when hope is lost and I come undone, I swear to God I'll survive. If it kills me too, I'm gonna get up and try. If it's the last thing I do, I've still got something to give. Though it hurts sometimes, I'm gonna get up and Most nights I feel that I'm not enough, but I refuse to spend my best years rotting in the sun. So when hope is lost and I come undone, I swear to God I'll survive. If it kills me too, I'm gonna get up and try. If it's the last thing I do, I still got something to give. Though it hurts sometimes, I'm gonna get up and live until the day that I die. I swear to God I'll survive. I swear to God I'll survive. I swear to God I'll survive. If it kills me too, I'm gonna get up and try.